everyone, and welcome to another Tinfoil Wednesday. How's everyone doing? Hope you're having a great week so far. I'm energized, so this should be a good one. Sorry I couldn't make it yesterday. I was supposed to get out of work at 2 p.m., but someone called in, so I had to stay later and cover some of their shift, so I apologize that you didn't get Tinfoil yesterday, though I did warn you this week I'd be a little more scarce anyway because my boss is out of town and I'm covering some of her shifts, but then another person called in, so it was a whole thing. So welcome everyone, today we're going to be looking at more Tinfoil weirdness. We are going to be playing bingo, so if you'd like, make sure you get your bingo cards ready. I'm sure some people are curious about this from the Discord. We will be doing Sovereign Citizen Watch tomorrow. For those who aren't on the Discord, Cameron James Wilson of Sovereign Citizen Wise Dome fame, infamy, whatever, he sent me a Sovereign Citizen cease and desist letter for covering him. And he sent it the most legitimate way possible that all legal scholars will tell you is the best way to serve someone, via Discord. So we're going to take a look at that, as well as some other sovereign citizen stuff tomorrow. So, what's the drink? Root beer. A&W root beer. So, we'll take a look at that. He's probably going to try to sue me, which is going to be a pain in the ass. I'm gonna entertain you with this shit, but if he sues me, you motherfuckers better give me money to hire a civil defense attorney. Okay? That's the deal. I be cool about this and make jokes about it, and you make sure I don't get fucked by some sovereign citizen weirdo. Okay? Okay. But hopefully he won't actually file anything, because I assure you anything he files is gonna be a waste of all of our money and time. But he's not rational, so you know how people are. Let's see what is going on in chat that I missed. Amber Pretzels, thanks for 37 months, says it's too hot and you're dressing up. It is, and it is, but I have air, so I should be fine. Thank you, Spokane Dogman. I'm glad I'm still doing streams too. Innocuous Blonde with 45 bits says, oh my, I can hardly believe it's time to bring another sub-baby into this world to join harmonica B, accordion B, rimshot, and no musical talent. By the way, I hope the summer costumes are, or in soon. Dang, it's hot. It will be soon, and the next week I'll have them. So that'll be cool. This sub-baby's name is going to be Theremin. No B, one word, like Madonna. Theremin. We did it. So, let's see what other stuff is going on. If you want to help support the stream, you can always become a member or a subscriber on Twitch. You can gift subs or memberships on YouTube. Bits on Twitch. And tips. Other than that, if you haven't already, make sure you give me a follow or a subscription on YouTube. I know some people watch the show regularly, but don't subscribe. Why do? I understand not chatting. That's fine. But subscribe. What are you doing? So, anyway, let's jump into it, shall we? What are we going to start with? What was this one? Oh, French flat earth questions. Okay, let's start with an Ozzy thing. R.I.P. Ozzy. Ozzy Osbourne died. I assume all of you have heard that at this point. The guy lived a long life, died at 76. Incredible that he lived as long as he did, considering the kind of lifestyle he had, especially when he was younger. But, yeah, great musician, talented guy, very funny. Died. So, of course, conspiracy theorists are going to conspiracy theory, and they have much to say in regard to this man and his career, because if you don't know anything about Ozzy Osbourne, a lot of the imagery surrounding his music and career has a, satanic bent, let's say. He's from that era of music where the aesthetic was very, like, demons and devils and evil. So, of course, conspiracy theorists are obsessed with him. So we'll check out a couple videos about it. Fennikagami says, speaking of legal nonsense, Karl has returned from the grave and has sent his followers to harass Surus. I did see that. That's bullshit. Karl's just upset that his channels keep getting deleted, even though Surus and I have nothing to do with it. But he's a conspiracy theorist, so every time his channels get deleted, he assumes we have something to do with it. We don't. I haven't fucking watched his videos, and I don't even know how long. The guy's cracked. So anyway, let's get into it.
Ozzy Osbourne is dead at the age of 76, and this is clearly another ritual that was done. As always, I would ask that you would please take time out of your day to like the
Let's just go ahead and knock Satanism out right now on the bingo card. You can just mark Satanism. That's basically a free space today.
video, comment down below.
Maybe Surus reported him to VTube.
And if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel and turning on the bell icon so you will know.
A&W versus Barks. I prefer A&W, but I understand people having differences. Nemesaur, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Appreciate ya.
Never miss another upload on the channel. And this video clip I am about to play comes from A Truth For You. She is on TikTok. She is on Facebook. She does a lot of great breakdowns, and she discusses the ritual surrounding Ozzy Osbourne's death.
Ozzy Osbourne has just passed away at the age of 76, just days after.
Whenever you hear that standard TikTok music, you can just assume whatever they say is bullshit. There's a heuristic for you. Here's an even better heuristic. You heard it on TikTok? Probably bullshit. There you go. Saved you some time. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. We are now almost on a hype train.
Black Sabbath's final performance. I don't think that you could get
Mr. Crowley
much more poetic than this. News articles aren't giving much details of how Ozzy passed away, just that he passed early this morning peacefully with his family by his side. But you guys, I was just talking about how Black Sabbath's last performance kind of felt like a passing of the torches from Ozzy to Youngblood. Like the transfer in Youngblood's music video, The Funeral. Like the nightly dubbing feel that this interaction gave us, where Ozzy told Youngblood to go conquer America. It felt more like a farewell. And in return,
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, Ozzy's, what, he was 76? And not in great health, relatively speaking. I guess it depends on what you mean by relatively. Relative to his lifestyle, shocking he was as good as he was. Relative to someone in their 70s that has never done drugs before, probably not great. I would imagine that he and the people around him were aware that he didn't have the most time ever left. That's not a bad thing, that's just life. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. Steve of the Q with 100 bits says Legal Defense Fund train. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. 29% to level 4 of the treasure train. I think a treasure train, if it gets over level 5, subs get discounted. It's a weird variation on the train. I don't know why.
Youngblood hands Ozzy an upgraded cross necklace embedded with diamonds. And the whole Liquid Death thing where Ozzy Osbourne is selling cans with his DNA on it, and the commercials are like,
now, once technology and federal law permits, you can replicate Ozzy and enjoy him for hundreds of years into the future.
It's a joke, ma'am. It's a joke.
was this just an insane amount of coincidences, or were they hinting to the fact that something like this was going to happen?
It's not even a coincidence. Doesn't know what a coincidence is in the bingo card.
But I kind of question that theory, because Kelly Osbourne got extremely defensive when social media was saying that this was Ozzy Osbourne's funeral and that this was his final farewell. If this wasn't a passing of the torches situation, you guys, I just find everything that was set in place to be eerily timely.
So this,
I mean, is it eerily timely? I don't think so. I think they all just knew that he was going out. This was like I think it was a farewell charity concert. They knew the guy wasn't going to be around much longer. It's not a coincidence. They just can see the man was old.
this is plain as day another ritual, because he dies at the age of 76, and then gematria, skull and bones, adds up to 76.
Reverse reduction. They always do this. Well, they'll just say gematria as if it's one thing. There's tons of different codes they call gematria, and they just find whichever one produces a number they find to be significant. Gematria on the bingo card.
And what are the odds he dies 3 weeks after his retirement concert?
Not low. You usually retire, especially when it's like a job that's, how do I put this? I'm not trying to underscore the hard work that goes into being like a musician. Like, even in the high tier musician world, you're doing a lot of work. But you tend to do that older, you know? People retire when they can retire, but people and musicians often do their gigs for a long time. So by the time they retire, usually it means they're really, really having a hard time. Like my grandpa, whom I love very much. He's a wonderful guy. He's older. He's a musician. He's been a musician his whole life. He's a country music musician. And he's done countless shows throughout his life. Just a couple... Oops, sorry. Almost knocked over my root beer. A couple years ago, he retired from music. And it was really sad. And it was because he's so old that he just, like, couldn't do the strain of it anymore. Going through full concerts, doing gigs. And it sucked because everyone knows how much performing meant to him. So, like, my grandpa's quite old. And I don't know how much longer he'll be around. So I like to see him, you know. Sorry, I'm getting off tangent here. I guess what I'm trying to say is, when a musician or someone who performs for a living, who enjoys performing, retires, it's usually because they can't do it anymore. Not because they don't want to do it anymore. So the idea that it's weird that he died soon after retiring, that's not weird. That makes perfect sense in this scenario. Overthought, thanks for gifting a sub. Really appreciate it. Alted Undying says, lawyer train going off the rails on the lawyer train. 40 seconds left on the treasure train, 53% to level 4.
They are obsessed with the number 3. So again, what are the odds of all of this, and what are the odds?
Also, my grandpa's cool with me being trans, and he's like 80, so that's pretty based. Thanks, Grandpa and Grandma, for not being dicks.
It's that just the other day, we lost a celebrity that played in the Cosby Show, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and now we lose Ozzy, and they always say that it comes in 3s.
Oh shit, Altered Undying, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs and unlocking the treasure train. What does that do? Subs are 35% off 5+ gift subs. That's still a lot to ask of people, but if you want to do 5+ gift subs, it's 35% off now. Capitalism is truly disgusting.
And even as A Truth for You discussed, Ozzy was literally selling his DNA via liquid death. I mean, come on. This is nothing more than a major ritual. I mean, come on.
It's a joke, guys. It's a joke. Why don't they understand jokes? Altered Undying, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Taking advantage of the thing. Steve with a Q, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Apparently capitalism gets people to buy shit. I don't get it. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Wow, we're gonna kill this month's sub goal, aren't we?
Selling your DNA.
Does this count as popular media as evil? We'll count it. I'll count that as popular media as evil.
With a company called Liquid Death before your demise.
Liquid Death isn't even that good. Maybe I just haven't found a good can of it yet. It's just water, right? It's water. How bad could it be? Dasani? Dasani's the worst water. Altered Undying says, my first subs were Unstable Deadbeat. And Fennikagami says, I'm curious how controversial can we get here? I don't want to start stuff if people aren't comfortable. However, that concert he's talking about might be the anniversary tour concert where a bunch of metal bands played their own versions of Black Sabbath songs. Why would that be controversial?
I mean, come on. And the fact that he...
Do I think anti-woke Paramount or CBS will cancel Trek after X in Colbert? They've already been slowly getting rid of shows, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Dies shortly after his retirement tour should tell you all that you need to know. That this was clearly another ritual, another sacrifice that was done, because this is what these people do constantly. These people constantly do these satanic blood rituals over and over and over.
Everything I don't understand is satanic. The world is confusing and full of devils.
Over and over again.
Rick M, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs.
And even as a truth for you discussed, it looks as if his ritual with young blood was a transfer of consciousness per se. Because
Ozzy passed his Katra onto this fucking guy that I don't even know. I don't keep up with music, I'm sorry.
The name alone for the artist, Young Blood, should
remember
tell you all that you need to know about what was going on here, where he had his hand on Young Blood's head.
We have to go to the Genesis planet to get clone Ozzy, but then the Genesis planet is just Phil Collins's head.
People need to wake up and realize what is going on.
That's not the controversial stuff. The controversial stuff is the things Ozzy said more recently before his death. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that, if I'm being honest. Let's not.
Because these people are demonic puppets, and these people are participating in these satanic demonic rituals over and over and over again. I mean, come on. He was known as the Prince of Darkness. This is plain as day. It
continually surprises me, these people's inability to understand marketing. Like, guys, like 70s and 80s bands that did the whole satanic thing, kind of like, how do I put this? Before grunge took over, having like a heavy metal band that was you were either like a hair metal band, or you were like satanic, demonic, we cosplay as if we're worshiping the devil metal bands, right? And there's nothing wrong with either of these groups of people. They're just different kinds of marketing and aesthetic that go along with the music that they're making that connect with people due to a variety of reasons. It's not evil, it's just a vibe.
Satanic ritual that was done. They know what they are going to do. They know the certain...
Overthought with 100 bits says, on the demonic scale, Ozzy's like a 2. Go look up Mayhem and Euronymous. Ozzy is a teddy bear compared to actual church burners. Yeah, he's quite... And it might just be because of my age, but like, Ozzy and Black Sabbath do not come off as particularly edgy to me in a post like Slipknot world. Like, I just don't... It's almost cute, you know? It's like, oh, look at what they used to think was edgy. You know what I mean?
Dates. They know the certain times that they are going to do these demonic blood rituals, and then they enact these blood rituals. These people could have been gone days ago, but they wait for certain dates and certain times because they follow all of this to a T. They follow all of this by numbers. This is nothing more than another satanic ritual, and it was done right around the time as what is known as the Grand Climax. As you see on screen, July 20th through the 26th is rituals leading up to what is known as the Grand Climax. So again, this is all done by design.
Thank you for that incredible hype train, everyone. Ooh, I got like a fish emote. That's cute. It's a good one. Thanks for the hype train, everyone.
These are rituals that are being done. These people worship Satan. And the fact that Ozzy Osbourne had a song out praising Aleister Crowley called Mr. Crowley should tell people all that they need to know also. This man was part of the cult. This man was an Illuminati puppet. This man was a satanic puppet. And this was a satanic sacrifice. I mean, look at the lyrics. Right here, Mr. Crowley, won't you ride my white horse? I mean, come on, that alone should tell you all that you need to know. This man was deep into the occult, and he was open about it. He was open.
They genuinely think that singing about a thing is saying you think that thing is awesome.
About it. I mean,
that's interesting.
The Prince of Darkness, which is basically Satan, and the fact that he had this song as a way to show allegiance towards Mr. Crowley, aka Aleister Crowley. This alone should show and tell you all that you need to know. And speaking of Aleister Crowley, Ozzy Osbourne's death happened 82 days until Aleister Crowley's birthday. Or if you include the end date, it's 83 days.
Daphne, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs.
But you have that 82/83. And again, I'm going to show you exactly why this is important. And the reason I showcase Gematria is to expose these people and show the scripts that these people follow. And speaking of 82, Black Sabbath, his band, adds up to 82 in one of the ciphers in Gematria. So that's why the 82 is so important. All of these things line up. They pick certain dates, they pick certain times, they pick certain years. And
he's obviously never read any of the lyrics from other songs. He only reads the creepy ones.
all of this is
What's 82 again? A number!
by design, because these people are nothing more than a bunch of satanic Illuminati Freemason puppets. So
Illuminati Freemasons on the bingo card.
this is why they chose the certain date that they did. This is why they waited until 3 weeks after his retirement concert. And speaking of 83, murder adds up to 83. So there you have that 82/83.
It was also obvious.
Again, this is all
There's something at the P.O. box to pick up. Thanks for letting me know.
by design. These are satanic rituals that you are watching. And the fact that he used a artist known as Young Blood and participated in a ritual with Young Blood should show you and tell you also what is really going on. Because I can't really talk about what I want to, unfortunately, on said platform. But you can see
Pussy.
throughout the years where this satanic puppet flashed all of the symbols, the one eye symbols and everything else, the black goo, and the list goes on and on and on. This man was truly no
Yeah, this is spurious symbology as evidence.
good. This man worshipped Satan. This man was another satanic puppet, just like pretty much everybody else in the music industry. Because all of these people signed these blood contracts, these blood oaths. And
It's incredible that every celebrity has secret blood contracts with Satan, but no one can produce a single contract. I guess they're all stored in hell, which is a physical, real place, according to these people.
only way out is by being sacrificed, pretty much. So these people commit all of these sacrifices in order to stay in the ranks that they are in, and they enlist others, recruit others, and then when it's their time to go, they get sacrificed. And the cycle repeats itself.
Black goo. Oh, the black goo thing, how do I put this? Black goo is a conspiratorial trope. They will connect it to graphene or similar science things, and they basically think that it's like a sci-fi technology that they will put in your body either via a vaccine or some other thing that'll then control your body. It'll take you over and you'll be like a robot for the system. It's like a whole thing.
Over and over and over and over. These people are no good. These people are truly, truly part of the club. These people are a bunch of satanic filth. So it's no surprise they picked the date that they did. It's no surprise they waited 3 weeks later from his retirement concert to do this. It's no surprise that they killed him while he was still 76. And also 7 and 6 adds up to 13, so the 13 bloodlines. And the list goes on.
I'll go thinly veiled anti-Semitism for that.
All of this is connected. All of this is by design. These people are a bunch of satanic
The 13 bloodlines, it's like a 12 tribes of Israel plus a hidden tribe. It's a trope that already exists. That's a dog whistle.
puppets. Point blank period. So this was another ritual that was done. As always, God bless each and every one of you. And this is Truth
Hey,
Seeker
Diogenes.
signing out.
Jesus. All right, one video out of the way. Let's take a look at the bingo card. We have... What do we have? We certainly have Satanic. We have... Oh, I guess... Excuse me. Spurious symbology is evidence. Gematria. Clones. He mentioned clones. Thinly veiled anti-Semitism. Illuminati, Freemason, Cabal. Popular media is evil. Doesn't know what a coincidence is. Anything else? What's the urge called? The one that makes you want to do bad stuff like jump off cliffs? Intrusive thoughts? Or the call of the void? Yep, I got thinly veiled anti-Semitism. I think that's it. Is there anything else? I think that's it. Oh, the Super Soldiers did another AI music video. I know that these are getting old, but I never find it not entertaining how they envision themselves as sci-fi action heroes when they're not. So here's the newest music video for the Secret Super Soldier program. They're doing a conference soon, so I think this is an ad for that. Did the last video count for rounding error numerology? No, gematria. They're putting the actual faces of some of the members on the AI things now, and it looks so uncanny. Oh, God! It just doesn't match. Oh, no. Oh.
Brave souls defend the world community, casting shadows across the land with the intention in their hands. They carry the light. They carry the light. Super soldier talk. They walk that walk.
Oh, come on! That's just Master Chiefs! That's just Master Chiefs. They even have a red and blue one. What the fuck?
Directed by a collective.
Those look like stormtroopers. That AI ripped off stormtroopers.
Soul for a shift of humanity. Now it is time to turn the page. The coming of a golden age. They carry the light.
Wait, did they meet King Kong? Did I miss this? When did the super soldiers meet King Kong? And apparently a Queen Kong, too. Good for King Kong.
They light the way ahead, working hard for humanity, for a spiritual awakening, giving of themselves. They carry the love.
Why do they need to feel like soldiers so badly? I imagine for them it's twofold. Firstly, it gives them a sense of community, a sense of camaraderie with other people working towards what they believe to be a common goal, despite, in this case, the goal being imaginary. They believe that they all collectively experienced the same thing together, or something similar. which makes them connected in a community. Secondly, it makes them heroes. It makes them important. It means that they have agency and that they matter in some way. And for a lot of people, feeling insignificant and like nothing they do matters, combined with a lack of community, a lack of social connection, can lead people into desperate places where they'll look anywhere, including in delusional communities, for that community and for that sense of meaning.
Of a family, and to know what life can be. Keep my family close to me both night and day. The light
Do they believe it, or are they aware it's not real? They believe it. I wouldn't cover it if they didn't believe it was real.
super soldier talk. The light ahead. They walk that walk. For a cause they will fight to defend. When the fight never seems to end. And the light ahead. They carry the light, showing us the way. They carry the light ahead, working hard for humanity, for a spiritual way.
Do they themselves enjoy these music videos? Like, do I think they blast this in the car? Oh yeah. I think that they really, really like this kind of thing. It's incredibly self-serving, self-aggrandizing. I'm sure they love this.
Awakening, giving of themselves. They are the soldiers, super soldiers.
That's supposed to be James Rink. James Rink, and again, I'm not judging the guy. I'm not body shaming him. But he does not look like this. He's a quite lithe gentleman. He is not muscular like this.
Super soldiers. Oh.
The AI just has the lizard floating there, I guess, in a plane of existence, completely separate from the surroundings. Okay.
And super soldiers, talk. They command our great respect. They create our destiny. The universe is watching us. It's watching.
Oh my god, it's Harry from, it's not even just a Bigfoot. That is Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. That is the Bigfoot from Harry and the Hendersons, the movie. What the fuck? Too many soldiers, too many soldiers, too many soldiers.
You and the light ahead. They carry the light. Super soldier talk. The light ahead.
Could I get that silver suit, please?
They walk that walk for us all. And super soldier talk.
It makes me very sad that we live in a society in which there are enough people that feel lonely and empty that they have to create a community like this in order to feel like human beings. That's a bummer, man. Alright, moving on. Anyway, let's go to the titular video, I guess, for today. Where did I put that? There we go. Apparently Karl Marx was black. He's not, but apparently he is. So, let's check this out. We have pictures of him, though. Yes, Marcus, but are those pictures in color? Bum, bum, bum! the guy who thought Lincoln was black? Yes. It'd be funny if it was a different guy, huh?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And another one. Can't nobody take my pride. Can't nobody hold me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving. Yeah.
I like that song. That was a weird rendition of it, but alright.
Hey, much love and respect. Pura vida, mi gente. Yeah, we got another one. I mean, a lot of you probably already knew this. I know I've seen the websites and I've seen people talk about this. We're talking about Karl Marx. Yeah, we got another swarthy so-called brother that has been kind of whitewashed and downplayed. Like,
Aren't Prussians European? Yes.
they present him to us as a so-called white man, but it's definitely some so-called black or Negroid ancestry to Karl Marx, okay? Now, so before I begin, guys, just want to say a big shout out to Currency Conservative. That is his name. He's one of my patrons for a while. He's been following me and supporting for a long time, and he actually started sharing some stuff with me. He actually shared, that Twitter page with Hitler, right? So, I went beyond, above and beyond, and went to look for all the sources and everything.
This guy doesn't think Hitler was black, does he?
And try to prove it. But I appreciate him just, sharing that with me. And also an article I'm going to show you at the end of this video that he shared with me. And what I did is I didn't just rely on the article. I went into the footnotes and I tried to look for all the actual sources so I can prove it. So I'm not just reading somebody's article. I wanted to actually prove it by going
Is this person pleased Karl Marx is black? Yes.
to the actual.
I mean, I guess I don't know how he feels about Marx, but like his whole thing, maybe not his whole thing, but he tends to find historical figures and be like, they were secretly black. Basically, he's trying to find hidden black history, because as we know, in the Western world, black accomplishments are not celebrated in the same way that white, people's accomplishments are. And not only that, but black people historically have been subjugated, not only by direct, chattel slavery in the United States and other parts of the Western world, but through colonialism, which of course shifted the historical dynamic dramatically. So I guess in order to cope with this, he tries to find secrets that make it not true. No, actually, we were here the whole time, and in power, actually, is basically the vibe I get from him.
Sources in the footnotes of that article. He shared that article with me, so I want to give him a big shout out. We're literally, seems like we're going to have another person that's part of the investigation of real history. He's doing a really great job, understands what a primary source is and not just some random websites and all that. So shout out to Currency Conservative. Basically, we now have the Currency Conservative files. Just like we had the Kirkland files, we now have the Currency Conservative files. So this is what it looks like on Telegram. If you'd like to contact him, thank you very much. Who is Karl Marx? All right, just for common knowledge, I'm using Wikipedia just so people can understand who Karl Marx is in general, what we learned from him in school. I mean, look at the picture. Even the picture is showing his, what they say, frizz.
Were you taught about Karl Marx in school? I'm not kidding. In high school, we got one paragraph. In my high school, we got one paragraph about Marx. Who else does he think is black? Abraham Lincoln. There are others, but that's the biggest other one.
See here. It doesn't show him so dark, but we're gonna see so many descriptions.
And I'm not expecting the history book in high school in America to be like, Karl Marx was right, but his political ideas were, how do I put this, incredibly instrumental in shaping the 20th century, so you think we would have gone over it more. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying they're gonna go over it in a agreeing way, but like, it's just a little weird, you know? The guy's ideas had some movement in the 20th century. But whatever. Marcus Drake says, you'd think there's enough interest in black history that's under-discussed, like that the first emergency medical services was a bunch of black guys trained by doctors at the University of Pittsburgh. There is certainly very interesting untapped areas of, like, black history, but this guy doesn't want normal things. He wants to find secrets that are being hidden, like a lot of conspiracy theorists. Juggle will do.
Of him proving this guy was a so-called black man, right? They might have touched up the pictures or lightened them up, but also you can see he got the hidden hand there, what the Freemasons do. So is this really him, or has it been lightened up, or what's going on? But he still looks a little swarthy here, a little bit. But either way, let's not worry about pictures, because we already know, just like Abraham Lincoln and many others, they have been whitewashed and they are described differently. But one thing I just want to point out again, you know, that's Karl Marx, little brief info, but look at the dates of when he was born. 1818, guys, almost 1700s. And he passed away in 1883. He didn't even make it to the 1900s. So we got all these images of him. You don't think they could have, you know, changed it up, had the decoys, do whatever they look at he's putting his hand in the coat. That's the Freemason thing, like I just said.
No, that was a pretty common portrait pose. You can see Napoleon doing it as well. You can see George Washington doing it in certain portraits. It's just not an uncommon pose for portraiture. I don't know the origin of it, but it's not like a Freemason thing, right? It's just a portrait thing.
All right, picture that. We're getting all these images, but the descriptions I'm going to show you clearly prove that he was a so-called black man or had Negroid blood in him. Okay? So who is Karl Marx? It says he was a German philosopher, political theorist, economist, journalist, and revolutionary socialist. He is best known for the 1848 pamphlet, The Communist Manifesto, written with Friedrich Engels, and his 3-volume Das Kapital, a critique of classical political economy, which employs the theory of historical materialism and an analysis of capitalism, and the culmination of his life's work. Marx's ideas and their subsequent development, collectively known as Marxism, have had enormous influence, okay? He was born in the Kingdom of Prussia. So we're gonna basically get some physical...
I like Prussia instead of Prussia. I'm gonna go with Prussia from now on.
Descriptions
sounds like a Pokemon. Prussia, go!
Of him from many different sources today, okay? And that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you guys, you know, by the end of the video, if you're still gonna practice cognitive dissonance, that's your choice. Don't hate the messenger. All right, we're just showing
its evolved form is the Weimar Republic.
True history.
But it's like a republic, and it's got like a big tongue.
This is called...
Please don't ask me what its third evolution is.
The Red Prussian, The Life and Legend of Karl Marx by Leopold Schwarzschild. That's like little black child or little black one. That's what literally his last name means, guys. I'm going to show you that. It says translated from the German by Margaret Wing. This was originally in German, okay? This edition is from 1947, but the older one, original one, is a little older, okay? So we go to page 9 of this book, and it says here, but even this was not reason enough for the elderly man to allow John Marx to take up so much of his time, more time actually, than he gave to his own sons. He himself must have got something out of these conversations with his insatiable listener, who never took his eyes off him. They were dark eyes and a swarthy face.
I don't think I've ever seen another conspiracy theorist base more of their conspiracy on one word misunderstanding than this guy. So much of the load-bearing support for his ideas are entirely based on an intentional misunderstanding of the historical use of the word swarthy. Swarthy did not mean black. Swarthy did not mean black. That was not what that word meant. That was not the word people used to use for black people. They used words that we don't use today because they're not okay and they're depersoning. Swarthy was used to describe people who were like tan-er than like a really, really pale white person. Like someone who's maybe Italian, right? It's frustrating. With 100 bits, it probably comes from painting equals to paint a hand was very hard. Hard equals expensive. 2 hands in a painting. Rich people paid for the portrait. Okay, I guess I could see that because you want to stay in one position.
All right, so-called black. Swarthy, remember we've gone over this almost a million times. What swarthy means, it doesn't mean tan. It doesn't mean, or it doesn't only mean tan, because it could be applied to people who have a tan, right? But originally, like in Germany especially, it means so-called black, even today.
No, 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 no.
He has a swarthy face. Listen, the nose was somewhat broad, a broad nose, and the boy's whole appearance justified the nickname of the Moor. He was actually called the Moor. That was his nickname. If you guys didn't know, Karl Marx' nickname was the Moor. Who was the Moors, huh? What a Moor supposed to look like, which his father had given him. The Moor took advantage of his opportunities.
That wouldn't make sense for his dad to call him. If his dad was related and they were both black, why would he call his son what you believe to be calling him black? Like, they may have, if he had a swarthy complexion, might be making a racist nickname for him and being like, you look Moorish. It's possible they did that. I just don't understand why that would make sense if the dad was his dad.
He was never too tired to put the screws on these 2 men who were his only friends, to ply them with questions and arguments, squeezing people dry. His father called it, "Your Moor squeezed me dry again yesterday," the privy councillor would say to him with a smile. Okay, so this is a description of him when he was young. All right, when he was young, he had a swarthy face. He's being nicknamed the Moor. And by who else? By his dad's calling him the Moor. Swarthy face. Again, we already know what swarthy means. We got numerous videos on
Dark complexioned, but not black.
this. So just in case you still doubt what we're saying about the word swarthy,
He got me. He made a soy jack AI that said it doesn't mean black, so I'm the soy jack angry AI white man, so I lose.
I'm not going to go over 20 minutes of definition.
Lennon Cat says Irish actor Aidan Turner is swarthy and he's literally Irish. Yeah. It's just not a term that gets used almost ever these days, because it's like, it's a distinction people just don't make based on modern race politics. So like, it's incredibly antiquated. It's like old-timey racism, basically. You could, in theory, use it in a neutral way to just describe someone, but it is very much coming from a place of trying to categorize people based on their complexion.
Again, just like I did with the Hitler video the other day. Here is the video that you can go to directly. You know, it's about 19 minutes long. This is what it's called. Swarthy definition equals dark complexion, so-called black. Don't practice cognitive dissonance. I'm going to put the link of this video in the description so you can go watch it and learn some real definitions of swarthiness. As it says here, definition number 2 from the Webster's 1828 American English Dictionary. It says black. Definition number 2, black as the swarthy African. Dark hue, dusky complexion, dark, somewhat dark.
Yes, dark, but it is not typically used to describe black people.
Or tawny, okay? That's what it means. That's just one reference, okay? Go check this video out. Again, he had dark eyes and a swarthy face, so-called black. All right, we're going to move on to the next source. So we come to this book now. It's called Reminiscences of Mark and Engels. Mark, talking about Karl Marx, right? I said Marx, sorry, Marx. And then Engels was one of his closest friends. We're gonna also get a primary source from Engels describing his own friend. But we're gonna read this first, okay? Again, reminiscences of Marx and Engels. And we're gonna get a quote here specifically from a guy named Theodor Kuno. Theodor Kuno actually fought along Karl Marx and Engels, you know, when they were in their military time, right? So he met him personally. Now, before we get to that quote, we go to page 80, and we're gonna read here a little bit about him and his relationship with his children. It says he was a loving, gentle, and indulgent father. Children should educate their parents, he used to say. There was never even a trace of the bossy parent in his relations with his daughters, whose love for him was extraordinary. He never gave them an order, but asked them to do what he wished as a favor, or made them feel that they should not do what he wanted to forbid them. And yet, a father could seldom have had more docile children than he. His daughters considered him as their friend and treated him as a companion. They did not call him father, but more. Guys hearing this? They didn't call him dad or father, they called him more. All right? A nickname that he owed to his dark complexion. His dark complexion. So they're not.
I'm so tired. Like, in this guy's head, if Karl Marx was black, he thinks he would be cool with everyone being like, "What's up, black guy?" I don't understand.
Not just talking about a tan when it's saying Swarty in the other book, right?
I can't even believe Othello put up with that shit.
Literally, his dark complexion and jet black hair and beard. The members of the Communist League, on the other hand, called him Father Marx before 1848, when he was not even 30 years of age, okay? So real quick, we're going to talk about one of his daughters. The book is going to describe her complexion as well. We're talking about Jenny Caroline.
Alright, I think there's enough of that, we get it. He's gonna misunderstand descriptions of people from a long time ago and misinterpret them. It goes on for like an hour. So, let's see what's next.
Hey everybody, so in today's video, I'm gonna be
Rayline with 40 bits says, "This is just as frustrating as the Lincoln one, because if Marx was black, people would not have shut up about it. They were already freaked out by his politics. If a black guy was talking like that, people would not be okay." Oh yeah, totally.
Hey everybody, so in today's video, I'm gonna be covering how the collective, we were trapped in an artificial timeline from 2020 to 2024. So I'm gonna give you all the details about how that was done and kind of why we're technically in 2021 right now and we're not really in 2025. So
Oh, that's interesting.
lots in this video. It'll be about 15 to 20 minutes long, and I'm looking forward to giving all the information that I was able
What's
to.
really funny is the people who think William Shakespeare was black. Elizabethan England, famously, really great for non-white people.
Track down, and this has been years now that I've been aware of this, and I kind of always have been piecing the pieces of the puzzle together about kind of what happened and how it happened. And now that I'm fully aware, like 100% certain, based on channeling, remote viewing, like about this timeline, I'm gonna relay it to you guys because I'm convinced that we were in an artificial timeline, and I have got.
What is an artificial timeline? If we're in it and it's time in a line, how is it artificial? Is it just like made with "I can't believe it's not butter" instead of the real thing?
Confirmation.
Fenekagami says, "But Hannah, the prevalence of the pose in portraits is proof that Freemasons are everywhere. How dare you suggest that the cause is something mundane, like that's how they held their wallets? Wake up, sheeple!"
Regarding the information that I've got. So, where do I even begin? So,
Isn't this just psychosis? It's a fine line. Conspiracy theories and psychosis, Form a gradient.
In 2020, the collective, we were on track. 2020 was technically supposed to be 2024, meaning what kind of happened in 2024, that was supposed to be like the normal version of 2020. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys had like a lot of glitches with timelines last year, but there were, in 2024, I could have sworn on multiple occasions that I was like redoing 2020. Like it felt like we were literally like redoing 2020, and that was because the artificial timeline expired in 2024 that began in 2020. So why
Is that like a suggested expiration date? Like, are you gonna open it up and it's like, oh, this 2024 has gone really bad? Is it like safe, or
was this artificial timeline created? What I was able to gather was, yes, the elite, they installed an artificial timeline in 2020. Obviously, you know, there was the pandemic that occurred.
oh boy, he's one of these people. That's great. Fenakagami says an artificial timeline is the bad timeline for these people. It's them pretending things they hate about the world aren't real. That must be a convenient coping mechanism, to just banish realities you don't like from your subjective experience. That sounds nice.
And just chaos, right? Chaos that year. How were they able to do this artificial timeline? Through predictive programming. So they've had their plans for the
Kakistocracy says he's remarkably organized for psychosis, but it happens in first break or possibly in mania. You'd be surprised. There are people who go on for this for years without becoming as disorganized as someone is with like full-blown schizophrenia. So it's not, it looks like they're teetering, but they can teeter for a very long time, for years. There's a guy I've been covering, CC, for like 5 years, and he's been teetering, and he's just now starting to maybe fall into the territory where it's like, okay, he's distant enough from reality where this is like a serious issue for him. So I don't know. I think with some people, the disorganization gets worse over time, and they can get symptoms that are quite similar to schizophrenia, even if they don't actually clinically have it. It's really interesting how online communities can drive people that might have a propensity towards mental illness and really wiggle into their brain and just like crack it open. It's not great.
artificial timeline for years as the last-ditch effort to control humanity and enslave humanity. So why were they planning to do it during 2020? You know, why? Why 2020? What was about 2020? What came forward was it was their last year to kind of stop the inevitable. Even though they knew they couldn't stop it, they wanted to put all their final power behind delaying it. So what?
There's that conspiracy narrative of there's black hats and there's white hats. There's a team of secret good people and a team of secret evil demon people. And the demon people are all powerful and control all of our lives, except their defeat is also inevitable and they've already lost. It's that weird dichotomy of... It comes up in fascism a lot, too, which is the idea that your enemy is infinitely strong and infinitely weak.
What did they do? They inserted an artificial timeline, which kept everything on pause for 4 years. So from 2020 up until 2024, we were on a collective pause. Technically, before the artificial timeline was inserted. 2024 was supposed to be the New Earth initiation year. 2024 was supposed to be the year of the galactic unveiling. 2024 was supposed to be the year that I've been saying ultimately is now going to be 2028. So everything obviously has just been pushed back by 4 years. That timeline was enacted in early 2020 and it expired in, I think it was weakening in 2022. Like, I knew there were a lot, like, I know I felt it weakening in 2022, and then 2023 obviously like glitched out and it was gone by 2024. So 2024 was like a course correction year where like technically we literally just had to get back on course from like being off the planetary timeline. So 2024 was ultimately what was supposed to happen in 2020. The elite did this knowing that they were going to be violating the laws of non-intervention.
Is this just to cope as to why his predictions were wrong? That's the vibe I'm getting, that this is basically goalpost moving, so moves goalposts on the bingo card. I think he's trying to, A, erase years he doesn't particularly like, COVID and stuff like that, and act as though they weren't real, and also give himself more breathing room on certain predictions he made.
They did it knowing that it was going to backfire on them, but why? This is important. They knew that it wasn't, they knew they only had 4 years left. That's the thing, they could have only gotten away with it up until 2024. They knew that the time, like, we were gonna eventually course correct after that 4-year artificial timeline that they installed. So it gets a little confusing, right? Because then when I say in July of 2025, technically,
Kagami says they can't handle the idea that their narratives aren't real. They can't handle disappointment. I mean, could anyone? Imagine if you genuinely found out that everything you believed about the world fundamentally and how it functioned was wrong. Would you really be able to cope with that? I think a lot of people would say yes, but I don't think all of those people are right. Like, don't get me wrong, this person is wrong. They are objectively wrong. So it's not the same situation, but from their perspective, it is. From their perspective, they have an idea about how the world works that they're incredibly confident in. I don't even know how you would cope with that being taken away from you. Don't get me wrong, I think this worldview is destructive and doing him harm, but it's almost like Indiana Jones at the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where, like, the idol that he's trying to grab is like the shitty belief system, and it's like the sandbag is a new one. You would almost need to replace it seamlessly to try and give him some kind of stability, because you can't just take away someone's entire worldview. They'd be broken. How would they organize their thoughts? How would they organize their map of the world? They can't. So you can't really just snatch it away. He can't just get rid of it. It would need to transform over time, because you need some sort of organizational principle, some meta-narrative to help organize thoughts. Otherwise, you're just lost.
We are right now, we are where we were supposed to be in July of 2021. Okay? So we have literally been on a 4-year pause due to the 2020, artificial timeline that lasted
Hey X, find out this value.
almost like 4 full years. And that's why things have accelerated so much, especially in 2024, because we are, not only are we course corrected, we are on an expedited timeline to 2028, which means things are going to be, these 4 years are going to go by much quicker than the 4 years before, because all those 4 years before was meant to do was slow down what's going to happen. And if all the powers that had left was to do that, then, it just shows that even if they knew that it wasn't going to succeed, they just want to slow everything down because they know it's going to happen either way. And that's why the information I've got, especially from, Source, and especially, obviously, me being contracted with the Galactic Federation.
Source is like God, but without a specific theological identity. Kagami says, I mean, that's what happens to every former right-winger, former Christian. It didn't happen all at once. But yeah, people's bubbles get popped all the time, and their choice becomes either learn or try to rebuild the bubble. Yeah.
Federation, the information that I've got is if the
yes, we do have Illuminati, Freemason, Cabal on the bingo card already.
Powers that were try to take us off course of what's coming especially, you know, in 2026, 2027, and 2028 being the real year that I've been talking about, that's when they will intervene and shut it down. So they can't take us off trajectory like they did in 2020. We are on the right timeline. But I wanted to just bring forward that technically we are in July of 2025. We are technically, if they did not hijack the timeline, right? If they did not hijack the timeline, we would be really of the consciousness of what's coming in July of 2029, the collective consciousness, right? If we weren't off course, let's say the timeline wasn't manipulated for those 4 years.
Who's they? The black hats. It doesn't... I understand why you or I ask the question, who's they? Because in the real world, that question matters. In the real world, that question matters. But you gotta understand, this guy is a conspiracy theorist. He's operating in a world not of people and objects and events, but of archetypes and narrative tropes. It doesn't matter who they are. What matters is he is in a story where there is good and there is evil, and they are evil and he is good, and good people like him will survive and thrive, and they, the evil people, will be conveniently stopped moments before disaster. It's a narrative. It's narrative logic. Not logic like in the material world, but the logic of a story. Lenin Cat with 40 bits says, it's one of the few things I can think Carl Jung was right on, or think Carl Jung was right on. He called it disintegration. Your sense of self shatters, and you either have to course correct your personal identity and become a healthier person, or you double down and try to duct tape the broken pieces back together. I shit talk Jung all the time for the collective unconscious stuff. But I actually do like Carl Jung in his ways that he describes the stages of development. They're not bad.
Years, we
Personal development.
would be 4 years, like, we would have...
And even, frankly, the idea of collective unconsciousness isn't an entirely bad concept. He just thinks it's some, like, evolutionary psychology thing, or, at worst, some mystical woo-woo thing, whereas I would say a lot of it is culturally introduced archetypes, as opposed to things that are innate in every human, regardless of their cultural context. There's good ideas there.
Already 2024, last year, was going to be the year that I've been talking about, which is 2028. That was supposed to happen last year. So not only in 2024 was I feeling that I was kind of back in 2020, there was a great chunk of 2024 where I was like, oh my goodness, we are in 2028. Like, I'm seeing what is going to unfold. And that's why, like, that, when that artificial timeline glitched out, the doors have opened for the collective, for the highest good. And, you know, yeah, we were off course for 4 years. And yes, the artificial timeline did slow down what was supposed to happen. You know, I think one thing we could learn from it is they predictive programmed that timeline into us. So that's when
Predictive programming on the bingo card.
I get it. That's why I'm going to be getting into predictive programming in my next video that I'm going to be releasing. Today, I'm just going to be talking about the artificial timeline. In my next video, I'm going to be going into predictive programming and how we can be aware of it so we're not creating their reality, because enough people back in 2020, you know, they gave their power away to the Matrix and allowed that elite
Matrix on the bingo card.
timeline to unfold.
Benigami says Jung's explanation of development was definitely a step up from Freud's, which is obsessed with sex, plus zeitgeist and culture can be considered something akin to a collective unconscious. Yeah, Freud was obsessed with fucking oral stage, anal stage, genital stage. That guy, I get it. I respect that he worked on sexuality in human psychology in a time where that was incredibly taboo. But man, he had some weird ideas.
where we were totally just taken off course, and they were allowed to.
Freud took some of his own personal issues, and I think he projected them on other people. But, you know, he's a funny cigar man, so I guess that's something.
Get away with what they got away.
Oh, and also, you know, making the idea of an unconscious, subconscious, a thing people know about. And sex being psychologically diffuse.
Away with, right? So in 2025, that's unable to occur because we're back on trajectory. 4 years ago, this time 4 years ago, they got away with everything. So ultimately, yes, it was the collective that chose that timeline, but it was us holding the elite timeline of, you know, that artificial.
And it became way too esoteric. That's the problem with pretty much all psychology until, like, after the 70s. Basically, until behavioral psychology, stuff's way too fucking loose. And I like reading books about, like, psychoanalytic theory, but boy, do they make some stretches.
Official timeline that they installed for 2020. There's enough people predictive programming their reality.
Lennon Cat says, Freud's ideas say more about Freud than others, I fear. Also, my favorite Freud joke is that a Freudian slip is when you say one thing, but you mean your mother.
Where they were able to insert that timeline for the collective. And when I say collective, I'm not saying there hasn't been people who have broken free from everything and they're living in a different timeline currently in July 2025. I'm one of those people. I see the 2028 timeline. I personally feel like I feel right now I'm actually in 2029 and I'm waiting for the world to literally catch up to kind of what I know is going to be occurring, because even though the collective was in a different timeline, there were lots of starseeds, if they know it or not, they stayed in the real timeline. We are technically I'm in the timeline of July 2029, which is wild to believe. Well,
oh yeah, this is big vibes-based conspiracy. What I think is happening here is this kid has some psychological distress, emotional distress. Something feels wrong to him, and he can't define exactly what's going on emotionally or psychologically, so he starts applying all of these esoteric, like, weird sci-fi woo-woo explanations to what he's feeling to justify them. At least that's what I'm assuming is happening, because he's certainly under some level of distress, and I think he is post hoc creating a narrative to justify that distress, and also, while he's at it, allow himself to move the goalposts on some predictions he's made. Chiba Hawk, thanks for a 7-stream streak, says, asking for a friend, but who wins the World Cup in 2028? The Dodgers. I don't know, baseball teams. The Dodgers? That sounds like a baseball team.
so many others are in the timeline of July of 2021. Like, if that makes any sense. But if you think about it, like, those who, even though, yes, the collective...
Oh, World Cup. Still the Dodgers in an insane upset.
Timeline was manipulated by 4 years. People's individual timelines have, like, with the ascension and the awakening, there were numerous starseeds and lightworkers who did not get sucked into the collective timeline that was, like, that artificially installed timeline that occurred in 2020. So many of us are actually...
I still don't understand what he means by artificial timeline.
Not, like, that's why when we feel we're waiting for the world to catch up to us, it's because, especially in 2020 with that timeline split, those who were creating the reality for the elite to artificially, slow the process down. This video's a lot. Those who are, basically being slaves to the elite, right? they were the ones who were pulled, you know.
It might be a Trump thing. He just hasn't mentioned Trump at all, and usually people who put these weird esoteric beliefs on Trump mention him a lot. So if he was obsessed with Trump, you'd think he would mention him.
4 years, like, stuck, right? Like, not ascending, stuck in the artificial timeline that lasted about 4 years, while others, who I knew this was happening all along, and it was horrific knowing that it was happening all along, because I damn well knew we were in an artificial timeline, especially in 2024 when the artificial one ended, and then I'm like, wait, are we in 2028? Because I'm seeing everything unfold in 2028, but like the collective is in the timeline of like 2021. This video's wild. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. What I'm saying is intense, and there has not been a lot of remote viewers or channelers, I know, that has brought this up, that we were in an artificial timeline. And karma did catch up to that timeline, because now we just have to rehash everything that was coming for 2021 to 2025. Right now, we're technically, you know, the 3-year downfall was supposed to be 2021, 2022, and 2023. And that, you know, real new Earth.
Thinking Sabercat says, I think he's read Philip K. Dick. Oh, this is going to be that sad. Yeah. So for those that don't know, Philip K. Dick, great writer, one of the most famous sci-fi writers of the 20th century. Unfortunately, also a sufferer of, I don't know if he was ever diagnosed, but I believe it is believed he had paranoid schizophrenia. So he did some talks where he had some very tinfoil things to say.
It's okay. It's okay. The sun discovered recently is a topic which has been discovered recently and which may not exist at all. I may be talking about something that does not exist. Therefore, I'm free to say everything or nothing. I, in my stories and novels, often write about counterfeit worlds, semi-real worlds, as well as deranged private worlds, inhabited often by just one person, while meantime the other characters either remain in their own worlds throughout or are somehow drawn.
Total Recall's based on one of his stories. Yes, we'll remember it for you. Wholesale is the title of that story.
Into one of the peculiar ones. This theme occurs in the corpus of my 27 years of writing. At no time did I have a theoretical or conscious explanation for my preoccupation with these pluriform pseudo-worlds, but now I think I understand. What I was sensing was the manifold of partially actualized realities lying tangent to what evidently is the most actualized one, the one which the majority of us, by consensus gentium, agree on. Later that day, back home again, but still deeply under the influence of the sodium pentothal, I had a short, acute flash of recovered memory. Then, in mid-March, a month later, the total body of memories intact and...
He goes on like that. It's basically just paranoid delusion stuff. Quite sad. Explains a lot of where he got ideas for some of his writing, but quite sad.
Galactic unveiling, full truth disclosure year was 2024, which was supposed to be last year. But with the hijacking of the timeline for the collective, that's why it's 2025, 2026, and 2027 as the downfall, and 2028 is going to be the year. I don't even know how to explain this to you guys any more clearly than I did, but I know that there are going to be some people who know what I am talking about, know about this artificial timeline, and how they got away with it. This was one of their last things they got away with. Yes, it was through predictive programming. You know,
predictive programming on the bingo card.
Look at what they got away with, especially 2021 up until 2020 up until 2024. That was not in the planetary contracts at all.
I refuse to contract with you, timeline.
That's why when I said...
And that's how the Mad Hatter ended up with the March Hare. What are you gonna do?
The 3 waves of the awakening were 2012, 2020, and 2028. It originally was supposed to be 2012, 2020, and 2024. But because that, the third wave of the awakening was hijacked for the collective, I mean, yes, guys, there was a huge shift in 2024, but really it was what was supposed to occur in 2020. 2024 is now going to be 2028. And I saw both sides of it in 2024, and it was intense. But that's why now it's the three waves of awakening are 2012, 2020.
What's up with the random hype trains now? They just pop up randomly. There's a hype train, but we had a crazy hype train earlier. So I don't expect anything to happen with this, but there is one. I don't know why Twitch is doing that.
And 2028. And I know, guys, they cannot hijack the timeline anymore. The timeline is set. That's why, especially the end of this year, or the next few months, leading into 2026 and 2027, heading up to 2028, you guys probably hear me over and over talking about this, because this is what I'm talking about. I'm like literally just giving you guys the information on like me from the, like, I'm not in the current timeline, like, of this planet. Like, I'm already in 2029. I'm 4 years ahead. Like,
I'm so curious what he thinks he means by that, because he's talking to everyone. He obviously is where we all are, so what does he think he means he's in a different timeline?
Sounds wild, I know, guys, but like...
Nemesaur, thanks for another 10 tier 1 subs. I assume logic was the others were work subs and these are home subs. I know you've said that before. Thanks, Nemesaur.
There's a lot
Nemesaur says, no one expects the random hype train.
Us who are stuck in the wrong timeline from that artificial timeline that they put in. And I just hope that the collective catches up soon, because whew, and they are gonna catch up, because in 2028 we're all gonna be on the same level again. The people who were stuck in the artificial timeline for 4 years, they are on the rapid four, like the timeline from 2024 to 2028. They're on the rapid, what's the word that I used? The accelerated timeline. That's why.
So is it a sense of like vibes? Like he's like, I'm higher vibration and these people are behind because they're not as high vibration and that's why they're in a different timeline? Like, I know that doesn't make sense in reality. I'm trying to understand his thought process. Diogenes 42, thanks for gifting a sub, and Tea Time T, thanks for gifting 5 subs. Wow, crazy day for gift subs. Thanks, everyone.
You see so many people who were so dead asleep even a year ago just abruptly waking up. Well, they are realizing that they may not know that they were on a holding pattern for 4 years, but, you know, they're awakening very quickly. So next video, I am going to get deep into
Sorry, H-Baird. H-Baird says, if he's in 2029, can he send me next week's Powerball numbers? If they're right, I'll totally believe him. Alright, I'll contact him, but you better share with me.
Programming, because that's a weapon that the elites have used to literally make us their slaves. And it's not happening anymore. It's over and done with. There's so much going on right now, guys. Just try not to feed the noise. Now's the time more than ever to dig into like your soul mission and what you're here to do, because the world is in chaos. And like I said, it's like people of the higher timeline are like watching people catch up to us, and it's pretty brilliant, because there are people who I never thought were gonna wake up that are saying the stuff that they're saying right now, like just, you know, online or whatever, and I'm just amused. So with that, this is going to be like the video just on kind of how we were in the artificial timeline. And in the next video that I'm going to be releasing in a couple of days is going to be the video on predictive programming and how the elite through media.
Crayline says, what I'm getting is that there was a fake timeline layered over the real timeline. Most people are fully in the fake timeline, but he's almost fully in the real timeline under the fake one. Okay.
And education and every system, even just medical systems, even every system, like...
Also, this is almost over, by the way. I know people are probably over this video.
You know, institutions have it's literally a weapon to create a reality, like keep the matrix held together for, you know, the powers that were. It'll be so good, guys, if just... I'm still manifesting. I'm really manifesting, especially with this Epstein stuff right now. Like, all I hope for the collective is, like, let's all come together and just, like, say it, guys. We know, like, let's just all piece it together. Reptilians and adrenochrome.
Reptilians and adrenochrome on the bingo card, respectively.
That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is. Imagine we all came together and we are like, oh my goodness, guys, all this is reptilians and adrenochrome that can't, like, you know, we're literally slaves for the reptilians that are needing to run their adrenochrome operations to, like...
Okay, this explains a lot. This is the big puzzle piece for me. This is filling in a lot. You should have led with this. Lead with the lizard people. Lead with the lizards. Do not wait until the last minute and a half of your video to start talking about fucking reptilians. Talk about burying the lead. Minute left in the hype train.
Feed the elite. Like, like, if we could all just come together right now in July of 2025 about that truth, instead of, you know, people just, like, needing to go down all these rabbit holes of kind of the 3D stuff with the story. I mean, if we all could just come to consensus, if we all could just, I guess...
If everyone would just agree with me, everything would work out so well, thought every human who has ever existed.
This is asking a lot, but if we could all come together and be like, guys, it's literally just like a reptilian, satanic, you know, it's nothing new. That this is what's
crazy, that reptilian aliens are also obsessed with Abrahamic religions.
This planet's about.
Wouldn't it be funny if the reptilians are real, but they're, like, really into dharmic religions? That'll be a twist.
Out. This is their operation all along. This, like, adrenochrome, like, they are literally, we're slaves for their matrix. And, like, I'm really hoping and praying that whatever comes out with this, because, you know, consciousness is the solution. The government isn't going to tell us anything. And I'm happy people are waking up to this. They're not going to tell us anything. It's consciousness. And if we could all come together and acknowledge, I mean, I obviously, you know, I'm a remote viewer. I know about that operation. And I know that starseeds are at the core.
For those that don't know, remote viewing is when people close their eyes and think they can see things other places psychically. It's been tested many times. It's never been found to be something that's real.
For a bit. And I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll get into it when I'm ready to get into it. But when we could all just accept that truth, that it all just comes down to reptilians and adrenochrome, and we are all being pitted against each other, and if we come together, we could shut it down and create a whole new reality and ring in the new earth. Oh my God, guys, that's all I want. But unfortunately, you know, it's going to take, you know, upwards of the next, you know, 2 to 2.5 years to do that. So we're making progress. We're back on trajectory. But I'm happy that I was able to explain this, and I will see you guys in my next video that I'll be releasing in the next couple of days on predictive programming. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay well.
I think you should maybe get well before you start asking other people to stay well. Ugh, yikes. Alright, I am going to use the bathroom real quick, so don't go anywhere, and then we're gonna watch a horrifying video from some flat earthers that's just gonna piss everyone off. So before we get into that, Chair will tell you about, House of Wax? That's good. That's a good one. That's got what's-his-face in it. Why am I blanking on his name? Vincent Price. It's a 3D movie. There's a guy in it with a paddle ball that paddle balls directly into the camera. Would recommend. think Paris Hilton was in the remake of this. I'd recommend the original. I'll be right back. Benikagami with 40 bits says, what's wild and frustrating is when people like this who lean pro-Trump say that people are waking up to how untrustworthy the government is, when people like them are in charge of the government and they don't recognize the irony of them saying people are waking up to how untrustworthy people like them are. In fairness, we don't know for sure he's a Trump supporter. I see all the flags, but until he says it, I'll reserve judgment. Okay. So this is gonna be bad. Oh, we're halfway through the stream, so I'll just say if you're on YouTube, do me a favor and give it a like. I'd appreciate it. So this is a video created by some flat earthers. It's AI, but it's AI that they actually clearly spent money on, which is scary, because it sucks. So let's check it out. I do want to say, based on what I've seen tech bros say, stuff like this costs. I think that they spent over $1,000 making this video. It might be closer to 2,000, so be sad.
Once you know this, your life will never be the same. Are you ready? Let's begin by understanding what truth and reality really are. They are quite different indeed. It is based on our 5 senses, such as smell or touch. We work out the reality of our world through our God-given senses.
With the truth, however, well, that's something we tell. You believe us, even though you have never experienced it for yourself. You believe what we tell you, often without question.
Some people just can't handle the truth. It causes them to have an uneasy feeling inside. Ah, bless them.
And that feeling you get is called cognitive dissonance. It's where you can't process new information because, well, you're stupid.
That's not what cognitive dissonance is. Cognitive dissonance is when you have discomfort mentally because you're holding 2 conflicting positions at the same time. They don't even know what cognitive dissonance is. That's unfortunate.
And the reason you're stupid is because you were programmed that way. We can make you believe you live on this.
Yeah, staggering levels of hypocrisy on the bingo card.
Once you are programmed, you won't know any actual substance of the matter, but you will defend that belief as if you do. Let me show you an example.
If you believe you live on this, then you must know about it. Hand up, who knows how big it is? How fast does it spin? Nothing? Told you.
How could Gabe Newell do this to us?
We've lied about where you live?
Nothing? Told you.
I'm trying to see what that sign
How
says.
How fast does it spin? Nothing? Told you.
Wealthy people, couple, countryoids. Wealthy people, couple, countrynoids. It's a weird LLC name.
We've lied about where you live.
Okay, so Is that supposed to be a chair? What is the weird trophy thing on the ground in front of the desk? Sorry, this is I'm supposed to debunk conspiracies, not point out that AI is dog shit.
Live? In fact, we lie about everything all the time.
All ancient cultures knew the earth was flat and stationary, covered with a dome roof.
We are not savages.
Ancient wisdom on the bingo card.
We are ancient spiritual people.
Plantoani with a $10 super chat says, hopefully you enjoy... There he is. Hi, friendo. I'll cover your stuff tomorrow. I guess... See you then, Cam. Actually, no, I probably won't. I'm gonna hide you here, too. Later. Tomorrow, guys. We'll cover the Cameron thing tomorrow.
We even knew we had two kinds of stars, fixed and wandering.
Fixed stars stay in their relative position night after night, forever, just how we see them.
Wandering stars are different. They do their own thing and make pretty cymatic patterns over our flat, stationary Earth.
They all revolve around Polaris, the North Star that...
This is so gross. Using these depictions of civilizations that were destroyed by colonialism to try and push flat Earth hurts me.
Ever moves, directly above the center of our world.
We even knew the sun and moon are the same size, small and local.
Sorry, H-Baird. H-Baird says, all I can think about with these AI characters is this.
Oh my God!
What's wrong with your face? Oh my God!
We even knew that our world was disc-shaped and surrounded by an ice wall at the furthest point south.
We knew the flat horizon we see stays at eye level, no matter how high we are.
Did you know there is not a single experiment that proves a globe or motion? In fact, some show it.
Hey, fun fact, we've literally been to space, and that's a pretty good experiment.
It's flat and stationary.
Well, that's interesting. Are you following so far? Let's get you back to the timeline. Let's take you back to ancient Greece in 500 BC.
Hi, I'm your boy Pythagoras. The Earth could indeed be spinning. That would explain the
Wait, why is he plastic? He's way plasticier than the other people.
movement of the stars.
So are they. Why are they like weird action figure people? Has anyone seen the film Welcome to Marwin? No one's seen Welcome to Marwin, but imaginary audience members that's seen Welcome to Marwin. Reminds me of this.
Yo, I'm the Aristotle. It's 400 BC, and flat Earth...
Did he say I'm the Aristotle?
Earth has no bottle. I can see the ship go over the curve.
No, you can't, mate. Use this. Brings it back.
The Earth is globe because of sticks and shadows. I'm Eratosthenes. I did the experiment. Oh, it works on a flat Earth as well. It's a small local sun.
Idiot. After Mr. Eratosthenes, all globe Earth ideas vanished for nearly 2,000 years until this chap arrived.
I'm the Freemason Ferdinand Magellan. It's 1522,
Magellan?
and I've sailed the world, you melon, many times from east to west.
Yeah, Ferdinand. Everyone has done that. No one has gone from north to south, though. Muppet.
Yeah, you can't get past Antarctica. It's patrolled by the United Nations military, and they even use the flat Earth on the UN flag.
I'm Freemason Copernicus. The stars are light years away. I've made it all up in this book, because I'm gay.
They called Copernicus gay!
Hey, Copernicus is gay. I don't lie about the sky. I am Tycho Brahe, and it's all jumping jacks if you've got no parallax. You know, there is another Freemason who wants to work with me called Kepler. And let's see how that works out.
You're called on for fired.
You are fired! Get out of here, Freemason, and don't come back!
Well, that didn't work out very well at all. A year later, though,
I don't know why they're rhyming sometimes.
he was back, and things were going to change.
I am now the most powerful scientist in the whole world.
What was that?
I am now the most powerful scientist in the whole world.
Why? Okay, I get he was coming to murder
And
him.
things were going to change.
But, like, the guy on the telescope also has a knife, and it's just in his hand while he's using the telescope? he's just idling with it.
Now the most powerful scientist in the whole world.
Oh, got him! What the fuck is this? They spent so much money on this, too! Like, I'm telling you, they spent over $1,000 on this in terms of the tokens they probably had to buy to generate this shit. This probably cost like $1,000!
I am Kepler.
Unless prices have gone down drastically in the last, like, 3 or 4 months, which is possible. But I think this kind of thing costs like $1,000.
Freemason, and now the leading authority on made-up space. And I got away with murder!
Oh, wow. I'm a Freemason called Isaac. There must be a magic force.
They need a refund? No kidding.
That makes the apple fall, and I shall call it gravity.
It's not a magic force, it's an observable force that we can measure and predict.
Help! Help me! Density and buoyancy are a bitch, my G.
It's 1773 and I'm big boy Captain Cook. We should sail out to Antarctica. It's only 12,000 miles around, shouldn't take too long.
Who's with me?
Will slap my thigh and call me Mary. We have sailed over 60,000 miles and not found a way in.
How can that even be possible if the Earth is only 24,901 miles around?
24,901. That's how people talk, right?
Hello again. Thought I'd pop in to make sure you're still following. You are? Excellent.
Bonjour, Missy Me. It's 1783. I can see for miles. I love your smiles. See further than I should. Even if I could, that baby's flat.
My grandfather is the Duke of Devonshire, richest man alive, Freemason, of course. Anyway, I can do magic experiments from my shed. Yes, I make numbers up with a torsion balance. I observe it through a window with a telescope. Mental.
Not as mental as me. It's 1851. I'm going to have some fun. I trick everyone with this bad boy, even now. Yo, 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 it's the row, row, row. Samuel's the name. It's 1864 and I am back again. Trying to measure the curve. Ooh.
I do not recall what the Devil's Dictionary entry on Freemasonry is, Harold Elwman.
What a nerve. Turns out it's flat, though. I'll write a book called Zetetic Astronomy, laying it out for a curve measure wannabe. It's 1871.
I forgot to bring it, but Mr. Blast, by the way, got me something fucking awesome. This is relevant to what we're watching. I'm not just having an ADHD moment. You guys know the 1925 Farmer's Almanac that has the Flat Earth article in it? He found me an actual copy from 1925 that's in incredible shape. It's downstairs, but I do have it. I have the actual copy of the 100-year-old Flat Earth propaganda, which is incredibly thrilling. So thank you, Mr. Blast, for that. What a great find. I want to get a scanner or something so I can scan it. I've wanted a scanner anyway to scan some of my Blu-ray covers for my, whatever. Where is it? It's on the bookshelf when you walk in the bedroom on the right, on top of the books I got at the thrift store that one time. Altered Undying says, they sound like they're getting an epic rap battle of history episode.
I'm the number one. Got a scope. Lots of glober hope. Does the earth move?
Finikagami says, man, wouldn't it be great if people who are evil only did evil things and always lied and never produced useful or good things? Wouldn't it be great if we could just dismiss things by going, the person who did this was evil? That would be so convenient.
Nope.
Because I'm Big George Airy. I ain't no fairy, bro, but this don't show no spin. We're Mickelson and Morley. Feel a little poorly. We're getting in our groove, but the earth doesn't move.
So this is the almanac. It has like a poster board backing in here, but look at it. It's in such great shape for being 100 years old. Let me be very careful and open this and show it to you guys. Like, it literally looks like it sat on a shelf for 100 years. Look how... I'll switch to the bigger camera so you can see this. Apologies for my everything. Anyway, it's in beautiful shape for being 100 years old. Like, it literally looks like... I know I'm repeating myself, but it looks like it sat on a shelf for 100 years. It's incredible. And there's the Flat Earth article. The Earth is Flat, by J. McDonald. Copyrighted 1905 was the original publishing date of this article, which he republished here in this almanac. Really, really interesting stuff. And there's a lot of other kind of woo-woo stuff in here, too. There's a lot of, what's the word? Astrology stuff in there. But yeah, it's really interesting. I would love to scan this so we can go over it, but I am afraid, of course, I don't want to do a stream where I'm just picking it up and showing you all the pages, because it's 100 years old. And I do not want to be the person who destroys a 100-year-old piece of conspiratorial history, you know? So I'd like to get some clean scans on that, and then we can look through the scans. Oh, it looks great for 100 years old. It's incredible. Penekagami says, for anyone who hasn't seen it, I took my wife on a date to see the new Superman, and it was great. I guarantee that everyone in this audience would love that movie. Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm probably not going to see it till it's on streaming, or Blu-ray. Hannah mentions Blu-rays on the bingo card. But I'm sure I'll see it. I'll enjoy it. I like Superman. Speaking of Superman, look, I've already shown you guys this stuff, but I have Krypton, The Adventures of Superman, the George Reeves series. Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Superman and Lois, the complete series. I have Smallville too, but it's very big. It's like a huge case, so I'm not going to grab that. I have most of the DC shows, I think. Like, here's my copy of the 90s Flash, Season 1 of Peacemaker, Sandman. Alright. Back to it. Sorry about my tangent.
Move.
No Supergirl from the 80s. I do not have that movie, unfortunately. I will get it at some point.
Ah, you're still here. Fabulous.
Smallville's the one where the actor ended up in a cult, right? Unfortunately, yes. The Nexium cult.
Things seem to be moving along rather splendidly. Into the 1900s now.
Did you know it's 1903 and we have just managed to invent the airplane? I wonder if we will fly over the curve.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Around this time, the flat Earth was taught everywhere, and people knew the Earth was...
It wasn't. They just lie. This is what annoys me about flat earthers. Being wrong is one thing, but they will just lie. They'll say, oh, yeah, in the 1800s, they were teaching kids that the Earth was flat. No, they weren't. That was not a thing they were being taught. Stop lying. Just don't lie. Like, you can have your stupid bullshit claims, and I'll laugh at them, but at the point you start lying, you're just a piece of shit.
It was flat. Until this chap came along.
It's Albert here. Relativity is clear. Put in their book. Without a second look, now time to marry my cousin and her daughter.
George is the name. Hoaxing the Big Bang is my game. Boom.
So yeah, there I was, Big Bang hoax complete. Me, Albie, and all the boys.
Not a hoax.
Boys serving the agenda not to help mankind in any way. It's 1931. Holy moly. No. It can't be. It looks flat. Wasn't expecting that. With an upturned edge. Surely not the ice wall.
Well, war is coming. They needed something to divide the people, destroy old world technology. We may talk about that another time.
It's 1946. War is over. We have all the German war engineers. I'm going to Antarctica and going over the ice wall. You are such a legend.
Yeah,
Admiral Byrd.
Here. Been over the wall. It's freezing here, to be fair. Flew a plane to see new lands. Wow, people will love it.
Look, it's 1957, we make Sputnik. Satellites are not real, they are on balloons, nothing orbits a globe. Total nonsense.
They think World War II was intended to destroy ancient tech. Yes, that's a pretty common Tartarian conspiracy theory talking point, was that World War II was there to destroy ancient Tartarian buildings and technology.
Going out there again, we must protect the edge. If there is an edge, there must be a roof. We should do something about that. Hey, Ron.
Operation Fishbowl.
You like that Aleister Crowley fella, the Satanist from England? Top bloke? Yes, Jack. I follow old Aleister. He told me that you and I should do ritual magic in the desert, then help form NASA. Lovely fellow.
Wow, it's 1958 and space is so cool. We are so lucky to have you. We should go to the moon.
We signed this treaty and put it in place to protect the penguins. No one can go there apart from us.
By Jove, what a lot has happened. Are you starting to get it yet? It's fascinating, isn't it? Strap in, more to come.
Now Bird has helped us secure the edge. We don't know how high the firmament is. We should do something about that.
It's 1962, and we are going to launch missiles at the sky for 4 years straight. It's called Operation Fishbowl. We are insane. We can tell them it's for radio.
We are insane.
Or something, but we are actually measuring the roof.
Holy moly, there's a roof? Ladies and gentlemen, it's 1969, and later this year, we are going to the moon.
No one's landing on a luminary, it's just a light. Lying cheese balls.
All the preparation and...
I find it funny, too, because they're acting as though everyone at the time wanted to go to the moon. I want to be clear, for those that don't know, before the moon landing, there were many people who didn't want to put money into it because they just saw it was a waste of time. And they didn't want, like, the continued proliferation of, like, nuclear arms. And that's what the space race was basically proving who could develop an ICBM more quickly and more effectively.
Trials haven't worked.
How do we fit the buggy in the lander?
Anyone got a lemon?
Look, we are all Freemasons. We can't go to the moon. We are going to act it out, and you are going to lie about it for the brotherhood forever.
Did you really
That's how that went, exactly.
go to the moon?
Of course we did. No need to ever doubt us. It's all real and genuine.
Are you sure you didn't lie to the world and film it in a studio?
Of course not. Those aren't wires or studio lights.
We have completed our task for Satan. We made the world believe it's a globe and not God's creation.
We must continue our deception to rule over the stupid masses. All hail Satan!
Master of Evil! Master of Evil! Okay, we all got it, right? All hail Satan, and you respond, Master of Evil! Ready? Okay. All hail Satan! Master of Evil! Alright, glad we got that down. That's important.
Oh, hi there, me again. Hope you don't mind. They're not done with their space programming yet. Pay attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 1986, and we are going to send a civilian to space. What could possibly go wrong? Vote for me.
Oh, no.
No, you're not actually going. We're just going to pretend to kill you all in an explosion.
Okay.
This is fucked up.
Okay, that's enough.
We'll just say you all have identical twins. No one will ever know. Sharon, stop crying. You can go back to teaching.
That's how we fool
Talking about actual people that died. What's the name of the almanac? McDonald's Farmer's Almanac, 1925.
We play with your mind so we can...
By the Atlas Printing Company, if that helps.
...steal your soul.
I know what we need, a constant reminder in the sky. We shall pretend we have a space station. Absolutely fabulous. I fly the space station. It's just a tripped out B-2 bomber that looks real so the Globers can take a picture.
Yeah.
They think it's real. They are so dumb.
Well, there you have it, the battle eternal, flat or round. We only hope one day we have an army of flat earthers. Good night, God bless.
Who is this Eric Dubé? Who is Mark Sargent?
There's a part 2. I will save part 2 for next time, because if I show you another 14 minutes of that, I think you'll all kill me. So I will save that for another time. Excuse me. I wonder how Wretched Recess is doing.
Hey everyone, this is going to be a shorter video. I need to get to sleep and I cannot believe I'm making this before bed. This is like, what I'm going to show you is pretty disturbing. It's literally like the first 5 minutes of this movie, Funny Face, so I'll do a 2-part video. This will just kind of be like a little intro, and then I'll do a longer video like later on this week. First of all, this is like, I'm on my Roku thing, and this is like the little picture. And what do we notice about the hand right here? All right, we're just getting started. So, disclaimer, I don't own any of this
She's
footage.
going like this.
I'm going to show some of this footage for educational purposes. This channel isn't monetized, so I don't even know if any of that matters, but here we go. Oh, and shout out to this app that I downloaded, this classic comedy one that had this movie for free.
That is a funny shout out. Shout out to this app. Let me watch an old movie where I'm gonna transvestigate one of America's sweethearts from the 50s for no good reason.
Take note that Funny Face had 4 Oscar nominations. It's from 1957. Audrey Hepburn, Fred Astaire. 4 Oscar nominations, and maybe this is why. Look at what I'm about to show you. Okay, so it starts out like this, and then it immediately goes to this one eye, this one red eye, one eye symbolism. That's interesting. More one eye.
Benikagami says, that's what you don't get, Luther. I'm just as human as you are. I cry, I get angry, I get scared the same as everyone else. I'm not better than you. And every morning, even though I have no idea what I'm doing, I get up and put one foot in front of the other because I have hope. Superman 2025. Oh, is that from the movie? That's not bad.
And some hand symbolism going on there as well. And then the very next, I'm trying not to like play the movie so I don't get in trouble or so it gets pulled down, but then they took the magnifying glass to the eye and more one eye symbolism. I have no idea what this is supposed to be, but this entire movie is super creepy. All right, let's make this interactive. Go ahead and just, even though it's not a live video, I'm just going to let you gather your thoughts on everything wrong with this picture.
I got nothing. If I had to look at this from a conspiracy point of view, let me think for a second. Let me activate the conspiracy theorist tulpa in my brain for a second. Something about a serpent, an arm position being like an S, but reverse. Serpent, maybe? Something about the stripe patterns. They're gonna say her shoulders are too broad. They're gonna say something about how much lipstick she's wearing. Those are my guesses.
All right, so as above, so below. We have the red and white stripes for duality, like...
So any stripe pattern is duality, because it's 2 colors, okay?
This is literally the first 2 minutes of the movie, and it's already super messed up, right?
Is it?
And that's probably a dude, anyways. Good
I just
grief.
don't, like, what chance do I have? When they look at Audrey Hepburn and they go, that's a man. I don't know, man. Jade Monkey, thanks for 21 months.
And that's probably a dude, anyways. Good grief, like, okay, we get it. One eye. And you know what? This was 1957 when, weren't the 50s supposed to be like the golden age, like the ideal, you know, everything's like innocent and
Only idiots think that. Only people who have no idea of history or culture, like, only idiots think that, unironically. I don't like to call people idiots. Only idiots believe that.
what's the word I'm searching for? I'm tired, but you know what I'm saying? Like all of this stuff has been happening since then and way before then, but look at all the symbolism and like nobody knew what it meant. Well, not nobody, like of course the people making the movies know like what it meant, like knew what it meant, but yeah, this is crazy. All right, then they throw a pyramid on there. I literally just jumped backwards because like I'm standing in front of the TV doing this, and of course they had to have this.
Does she ever transvestigate people she thinks are trans men? I think I've seen her do that a few times, but it's usually in the context of she's already transvestigating someone else that they think is a trans woman. So
Person do the Aleister Crowley pose, you know, 4 Oscars. That's no coincidence. It's
it was an Audrey Hepburn Fred Astaire vehicle. It's not a coincidence. They were really, really incredibly popular stars of the screen at the time.
This was all the intro to the movie, like literally the first 2.5 minutes. So the rest of the movie is super creepy. I will make a longer video on that. I just wanted to give you a little taste of what you're in for. So yeah, notice the red and black. Red and black, those colors are like red is for blood, black is for evil.
Wow, two pretty popular colors just completely thrown out the window. Things around me that are red and black. Let's see, just randomly. This Heinz ketchup packet has red and black. These Coke Zero cans have red and black. This Pennywise sock has red and black. This is red. This is black. Like, I can find things all around me. You know what I mean? Oh, here's a good one. Ultraman. Red and black on the case. The bullshit health device that's just a hair dryer. Red and black. You can't just pick color combinations and say they're evil. There's color combinations all over the place. You sound like a nutbag.
All right, and this movie is largely about like the fashion world and like models and there's a lot of.
Does this drill count? It's orange and black. That's pretty close. That's basically red and black just with some yellow.
Like pretty fashion in here, but oh my gosh, this movie's creepy, and I wanted you to see like, so the very opening shot of the movie, then after that intro you've got another Aleister Crowley pose here with the hands on the face.
Kevin McAllister, clearly satanic, by the way.
Like that opening scene of the movie. This is Miss Prescott, who's a total dude who does like song and dance numbers, and you can look forward to that in the next video.
She really thinks trans people were much more accepted than they were historically, huh?
But I just wanted to like show you this, like that's a scary looking.
To be clear, there were trans people back in the 50s. They just weren't allowed in movies generally.
Person, and
with a few exceptions. That wasn't until later, actually. God, what's the earliest trans woman I know of in film? What came first? Midnight Cowboy or Pink Flamingos? One of those has the earliest trans woman on film that I'm familiar with. I'm sure there are older ones, but those are the ones I'm personally familiar with.
Something I was thinking about was
all right. There's a trans woman in the bar working in Midnight Cowboy. Rizzo calls her an F slur, I think.
In a very...
No, I'm not talking about Divine. Divine was a drag queen. There's another trans woman in Pink Flamingos that flashes one of the main characters. She was a trans woman. It was actually shortly before she got bottom surgery. So she flashed a guy in the movie with her penis and then had bottom surgery shortly after that, which is kind of funny.
Very long time since, and I'm sure you guys can totally relate to this, since I just turn on a show and watch it like regularly, like we used to just turn on the TV and watch TV. I'm constantly looking for, like, you know, symbols and trannies and stuff.
Strike one.
But somebody in the comments, remember that?
No, Glenn or Glenda doesn't count. It's about a trans woman, but there's no actual trans women in the movie. So.
Comment I read to you guys the other day, somebody was kind of scolding me for saying, like,
I do like Glenn or Glenda. It's quite interesting for the time.
I loved Black Mirror, like an episode.
You know, I used to actually suspect that Ed Wood may have been trans and just maybe wasn't super informed about it back in the day. But he actually did know trans women, I found out. So he was aware that being trans was a thing. And he claimed he was not, and he just liked cross-dressing. And I respect that, you know? I'm not gonna say otherwise. Guess he just liked cross-dressing. I respect that. Happy for him. But yeah, I used to think he may have been trans, but nope. I actually read somewhere he was aware of trans women. He knew they existed. Wasn't his thing. He just liked to cross-dress, which is also fine.
Of Black Mirror. I feel like as long as you can turn on a movie or a show and, you know, be like, all right, I know there's going to be agenda-pushing trannies.
Ah, strike two. Can we bail? There's only 45 seconds left.
In anything I watch. And as long as you can kind of, like, filter that, like, you know, filter that aside and still enjoy what you're watching, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know what you're looking at, but you've got to have some kind of entertainment. I don't know. This movie...
I just find it so interesting how she sees it everywhere.
Movie, though, creeped
me. She just sees it everywhere.
Out. I love musicals. I like musical theater. I like musical movies. Yeah, this one's got some really weird stuff in it. So I will make a part 2, but I just thought I would jump on here real quick. I've got...
Okay, I won't be watching part 2. Let's move on. Oh! Does anyone watch Love Island? I don't, but this lady has some feelings about it.
Love Island isn't just a dating show, guys. Love Island is a bone-chilling MK Ultra experiment run by Greys, Zetas, okay? Negative extraterrestrials to control your mind, harvest your sexual energy, harvest your soul.
Aliens are harvesting my sexual energy. They're about to have a brownout.
I say this very intensely because it just got really intense when I was bringing that out. But if you're a mom like me, you probably have teenage girls, okay? And those teenage girls probably love watching Love Island. And even if you have teenage boys, I don't know if the boys are watching it, but the girls are definitely enthralled with the show. They like the show, they resonate with the show. And all I can really see as I'm watching it is all of the hidden rituals that are behind this, how things seem really off and really weird, how language seems coded, how I think there's like a dark cabal type agenda that's behind this so-called reality show. I think there's a lot of alarm bells that we should be looking at. One of the main things is how they get the contestants in the first place. It's through the setup, how they set it up, through isolation and control. They typically target very young adults.
That's just like the scumminess of reality TV. It's not satanic, it's capitalistic. Doesn't understand their problem is capitalism on the bingo card?
Okay, like definitely under 25, the majority. you know, so they're impressionable contestants. A lot of them are probably kind of naive. And
as opposed to her, who's very knowledgeable about evil cabals. Chromatic Cuttlefish with 37 months at tier 2 says, aliens are harvesting my sexual energy. Was definitely a line to arrive in the stream on. Welcome.
and don't know the dangers and the threats of this world, just having their eyes wide open, running into something inherently opportunistically to try to probably get ahead. Like the clout is probably nice from this show, but you know, a lot of them are barely out of their teens. Like they just turned like 18, 19, 20. They're on this Love Island show. And so in the way they pull them,
yeah, we'll do a bingo check after this,
is they don't give them a huge warning. Like they're told that they're about to go onto the show to Love Island, and they give them like, you need to decide within 24 hours type of thing, right? Like they tell them like quickly, like you need to decide quickly. Like they don't like to give them a long time to think about their decision. They don't like to give them a long time to read through the contracts. They don't like to give them a long time to really think everything over and through. Like it's like, are you in or are you out? Let's go. So they have to, you know, make that decision. You know, they call and say, you've made it. And then fly them out to a remote island within days. So no time to really question, just
She has a point about this show's induced cultic behavior deliberately. I don't disagree with that. I've actually seen other videos that point out the similarities between certain cults and certain reality programs and how they sort of insulate the contestants within this small world that's, you know, entirely crafted by the producers, and how there are similarities. And I wouldn't disagree with that. I would disagree, however, that she's comparing it to MK Ultra and trying to bring all this other baggage into it. You don't need to bring governmental conspiracies into your private company fucking with people for money and entertainment.
And go. Another thing we have to look at is how when they get there to the island, they completely cut off their phones, take their phones, like no phones are allowed, no internet is allowed, no clocks in Love Island, no,
and lots of free alcohol.
Clocks, like they can't know what time it is. That's a little strange. No contact with the outside world whatsoever. They're just kind of trapped in this luxurious prison, a villa on an undisclosed island.
I wish I was trapped on a villa on an undisclosed island,
where time itself vanishes. No clocks, no sense of day or night. I mean, of course they're gonna have sense of day and night because of the
like Robinson Crusoe, as primitive as can be.
Sun, but these people are telling them like when to go to bed, when to wake up. Like they put them on a routine, and that the island people, the show, is in control of, which is strange for the whole time, right? So it's just kind of like they're on this undisclosed island, and then time feels like it vanishes itself. And I really feel like
this is a rough video for her. She's normally like more prepared than this.
They're experiencing,
but it feels like she's just reading off a script and she's barely interested.
Is textbook to sensory deprivation, right? They start to dull their senses. And it's a cornerstone of MK Ultra mind control, designed to break down the psyche and make it ripe for manipulation. So they're putting these people in a very manipulative, a very vulnerable state of being off the bat. Another thing they do is before they step foot on the island, all of the contestants have to sign an ironclad contract, a non-disclosure agreement, gagging them from revealing the show.
Freyline says, just looked it up. The youngest is 21, but most look to be mid to late 20s.
Show's true agenda. So nobody's, since going on Love Island, has been able to speak about what they've experienced behind the scenes.
Right.
So who is really...
Ma'am, these are all problems with the fact that it's a for-profit company that doesn't care about their well-being and cares about producing drama that they can film for people to sit on their couch and eat chips and drink soda and be like, ooh, look at the drama.
Really pulling the strings, right? It goes back to their media corporation. But the
that's an annoying bird.
Media are also biased, predators, and they can be bought out by...
Honestly, I'm gonna bail on this video. I'm disappointed with her. Indigo Angel normally cares way more about her nonsense, but she's barely trying today. So we're skipping her bullshit. Her bullshit wasn't even good enough. Take that. Alright, let's look at the bingo card. Uses AI, flat earth. Let's see... Staggering levels of hypocrisy, vibes-based conspiracy, Project Bluebeam, accidentally based, I guess, for pointing out problems with people who are contestants on reality TV shows, doesn't understand their problem is capitalism, Hannah mentions Blu-rays, moves goalposts. Yeah, that was the Arthurian racist lady. Transphobia, transvestigation, psyop, The Matrix, I believe, was mentioned. Reptilians, Tartaria, predictive programming. Anything else? Anything else? Oh, MK Ultra. Duh. Did we have Ancient Wisdom? What was Ancient Wisdom from? And where's MK Ultra? There it is, 21. Oh, yeah, for the Flat Earth thing where they were saying the ancient people knew the stuff. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Aliens did it for harvesting sexual energy. Sure. Still no bingo? Yes, we got Flat Earth. Let's see what else we've got. Found a conspiracy theory tarot deck I might like. Okay. That's pretty good. Thank you for the link. Appreciate it. Alright. Where were we? Ah, here.
What's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 20th. It's July. It's 2025. And I have been severely off the grid for the last several days. So I set up the Starlink. See it? That's Skynet. That's the same technology I was using when I was in basic training at Fort Benning when I was a young lad, which was almost 40 years ago. It's just rebranded. It's the same thing. It's helium balloons floating through the sky, carrying satellites. But on that, I'll die.
So that's a flat Earth belief, the idea that satellites are secretly just balloons. So I guess he's a flat earther. Doesn't believe space exists.
Because it'll probably get taken out by...
Sorry, Fennikagami. Fennikagami said even with no clocks, they wouldn't lose their sense of time without being trapped inside because of the day-night cycle. I mean, this could still be stressful, but not sensory deprivation. Yeah, to see what that looks like, you'd have to watch the reality show Solitary, which did take people and lock them in small rooms for a long period of time, which is a pretty crazy show. I'd love to be able to show you guys someday. Second season's on YouTube, but the first season isn't.
By a drone or whatever. At any rate, I've got a lot going on, and I've got a lot to talk about. I've talked to a lot of people, and I started meeting people on my my GoFundMe list. Remember that? Well, if you're on it, I didn't forget you. I'm actually doing it. I've already started. I'm in Montana currently, and I'm heading to another undisclosed location, but I've got a ton of footage. I went to the Sage Wall in Montana, and that video's coming. That'll be on Jailbreak Overlander. So there, as they say, is that. I got a lot going on. I got a lot of drama. Stuff I usually don't have to deal with, but somebody really close to me, somebody very, very close to me, recently has completely stabbed me in the back really bad, and I'm not going to let it get me depressed, but it's just unbelievable to even think about. But I'm not going to get into it because it's personal, but it's
Then why'd you bring it up?
the last person in the world I would ever expect to completely smile to your face and then whatever behind your back, but it happened. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do. At any rate, let's get into this, shall we? Man, I am a long way out in the woods. This is 2 grizzlies spotted in this area recently.
I did see that Italian Shakespeare. Thanks for bringing it to my attention, but I am aware of it. So far, they haven't done anything to me. They've been focusing on Cirrus, but who knows? I actually haven't talked to Cirrus in a while. I should probably reach out and see how he's doing.
I don't want to show this. That's a weird place for that sign to be. 'Cause there ain't no fences. It's just weird. I don't know. What is that?
The skull.
Oh, shit. That is a big-ass skull.
Has he never been out where there's, like, deer and stuff before, or other medium-ish mammals? You can find, yeah. Deer skull. A moose skull would be way bigger. Moose are much bigger than deer.
Wow. I didn't even see that, man. That's big.
Oh my god, talk about the conspiracy, you douche.
Mountains in Montana.
This is supposed to be a video about the moon landing anniversary.
Right now.
Oh, there was a deer. Did you see it? I don't know if you missed it.
Where I'm at right now.
Do you see right in the center of the screen? I don't think he saw it, but it's got its, like, ears perked up. His camera's pointed right at it. It's in, like, the center of the screen. Do you see it? Do you see it? It's, like, peeking around. There he is! He doesn't even see it!
What's up, buddy?
There it is.
So I put that clip in there to give you an idea of what it is I've been doing. I left my house Friday morning, last Friday, so I've been on the road for about 9 days.
This is gorgeous scenery. If you like gorgeous scenery of nature and slasher films, check out the film In a Violent Nature. It's very good. Check it out. It's like a Friday the 13th movie, but from Jason's perspective.
And the amount of footage I have right now is
Lots of interesting kills and nature vibes.
absolutely insane. It's utterly insane. I'm uploading it as I can, but I'm trying to keep everything in order because I want to present what I'm showing right. Because if the Sage Wall is what I think it is, absolutely all of our history is a complete and utter lie. Not that most of it isn't, but all of it is. You know, the Sage Wall reminds me of the Egyptian artifacts that were found.
I should watch the 70s flick Grizzly. This one, I have it. I also have the follow-up from the same director, Day of the Animals!
Out in the Grand Canyon, and then suddenly, off limits, no one's allowed there, it didn't exist, nothing to see here, folks, keep it moving. But with that in mind, today is the big anniversary of the moon landing, and I want to celebrate it with you. So here we go.
Buzz Aldrin commemorates Apollo 11 moon landing milestone on 55th
Night of the Lepus. You can't just... Hold on. It's in my mammals. Night of the Lepus. Someone else said Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear. Stop naming movies.
5th anniversary with heartfelt message. Legendary astronaut Edwin Eugene Buzz Aldrin Jr. shared a heartfelt message on the 55th anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission, recalling the historic moment when the lunar module Eagle landed at Tranquility Base. The 95-year-old, who in 1969 walked on the moon behind mission commander Neil Armstrong, reminisced about the iconic moment they shared while Michael Collins orbited above in the command module. July 20th, 19...
Michael Collins is the cuck of the moon landing. Do you think anyone's ever called Michael Collins moon cuck? Do you think he'd be upset?
1969. Contact light, engine stop. The Apollo 11 lunar module Eagle touched down at
Wilfred remake, or Ben, or Willard, rather. I do have Willard, I unfortunately don't have Ben or the Willard remake.
Tranquility Base on the moon. A few hours later, Neil Armstrong and I stepped foot on the moon, with Michael Collins orbiting close by. Aldrin wrote in a post on X. Aldrin emphasized that this monumental achievement stemmed from years of relentless effort.
There's one simple vision hack anyone can use to improve vision, so you can say goodbye to your optometrist for good. Did you know that vision
just
impairments
tap
have
your
nothing to
eye
do
with
your
a
eyes?
spoon.
The eyes are simply a
That's
camera for the part
medicine,
of the brain
right?
responsible for your sight. Here's the truth.
Effort, unwavering dedication, and the teamwork of hundreds of thousands. An achievement resulting from years of incalculable effort, commitment, and teamwork.
This real. The space capsule, where was this lunar module that landed? Where was that located in the capsule with 2 people already in it?
Are you serious? It was part of the stages of the rocket. You could see a thing of it. Hold on. Where was the lander in the Apollo rocket? This is the thing about conspiracy theorists, is usually the questions they ask have an answer. Like, here's a handy diagram that explains exactly where it was. But he doesn't want an answer. He just wants to beg the question to try and get paranoid conspiratorial people to feel weird vibes about things. There is an objective answer to the question, but instead of looking it up, he just asks it. Like, that's a point in and of itself. Everyone who asks a question like it's a point, stop it.
I'm just curious. And then, how about this? How come, shadows are going this way, shadows are going that way, and then shadows are going this way? Do you understand?
This has already been looked at. It's already been tested. The whole idea that the shadows are different directions. They're not.
It's not real. It didn't happen. It never happened. You can't go to the moon because the moon is made out of a plasma.
It's not. It's made out of rock.
You cannot land on it, period, whatsoever, at all. But, hey, in case you forgot, let me explain it to you like you're a little kid. Or actually, let Buzz explain it to you to a little kid. How about that? I don't know what I just did. Son of a... Whatever. Here we go.
Why? I hate this one. I'm straight up skipping it because the way they misuse the words of this man pisses me the fuck off. Gives me the same vibe as that guy who was harassing Buzz Aldrin until he punched him in the face.
We saw the Indian moon landing that looked exactly like a poorly done video game from when...
Right, you didn't see the actual landing. There was an illustration of it done with computer graphics.
Video games first came out and they were at pizza shops. Remember Galaga? Yeah. Recently...
How old is this guy?
A couple of people have been hitting on the biblical cosmology, the shape of the earth, whether it's round like NASA tells us or it's not, like the Bible tells us, and your eyes, your senses tell you, like cameras tell you, like telescopes tell you. I've been doing this for a long time, and when I first started out, I wasn't a NASA fanboy, but I was down with it, you know? I was always into the stars since I was 9 years old, almost 50 years. And the better my optics, the more I started understanding that I was looking at things that were inside water. And the more I started looking at that, I discovered that NASA's a complete, utter lie. The moon is made of plasma. And Kennedy, NASA, everyone knew the moon was made of plasma because it came right out. Actual scientists, not NASA scientists.
Actual scientists.
Real scientists.
They're real scientists because they said a thing he likes.
Discovered what the shape of the earth was. So they had to hurriedly...
Can you give me a citation, sir? Can you give me a citation for all these real scientists that said the moon was plasma?
Fake a moon landing. And they did. I've been to the Boston Museum of Science a million times, and they have...
Were you paying attention?
Have a exact replica of the NASA moon landing capsule there. And I'll tell you what, my iPhone's built better than that. This
It's been some decades, sir, and I don't know if you know this, but a consumer product is quite a different thing than than a federally designed piece of equipment meant for a space mission.
Plastic container is built better than that. This water bottle's built better than that.
You don't have the engineering know-how to make that assessment in the first place. I want to point that out. The fact that you eyeballed it and weren't impressed means nothing. You don't know dick about shit. So your initial eyeballing doesn't matter even a little bit.
Because they didn't go anyplace. They just made this paper mache thing out of aluminum foil and whatever else they had laying around, and they foisted this on people. And the reason I'm worried about what the real shape of the earth is, because it does a lot of things. I've said this before and I'll say it again. 60% of the things they're going to pull on us involve things coming from outer space. You've got to understand that. You've got to understand that. When you realize what's really going on, and we can only go up so far, and satellites aren't encompassing the entire Earth, etc., and they're not going to Mars, which is just laughable and ludicrous, man. It's an absolute joke, but they keep pushing that joke because they're always doing things like this. You see what I'm saying? Back in 2024, Will Duffy, a YouTuber named Jeranism, and a bunch of other pals got together to go to the Antarctica and completely prove the Earth was flat. Even though these guys were flat earthers, they wanted to prove or disprove it.
Yeah, people who are intellectually honest want to prove their beliefs true or not, regardless of where that takes them. Kudos to Jeranism for that.
Now, I've never trusted...
Jeranism was a flat earther that changed his position after the final experiment.
Jeranism.
I don't necessarily like the guy, but, you know, good for him for changing his mind, or at least positioning himself away from the flat earth thing.
Ever, and I still don't. I believe that these guys were sent to Antarctica, which is probably simply only AI. Because when this video came out, nobody was talking about AI, but...
Because it wasn't as big of a thing, and there certainly weren't readily available consumer video AI, like text-to-video programs at that point.
After this video came out, AI was everywhere. None of this is real right here. There's many videos...
Whoa, the conspiracy theorists don't believe in our tests? Whoa! Yeah, we know.
King Nico, many channels have covered...
Yeah, they had many streams going simultaneously that you can cross-check with each other. And frankly, AI doesn't have consistency between shots most of the time, much less between concurrent streams.
This and shown that this is a complete and utter hoax. Why would they pretend to go to the moon? I mean, pretend to go to Antarctica all of a sudden and prove the Earth was a globe and NASA wasn't lying? Because they had to. Because you can't pull an alien invasion, or you can't have magic rocks or meteors falling from outer space if there is no outer space, which there isn't. There's the waters above and the waters below. You know what I'm saying? This entire video, the final experiment, was torn apart by all sorts of researchers that actually have degrees in editing and things of that nature. This dude standing there with what looks like a perfectly blue sky behind him, and, you know, he's
Yeah, not a lot of pollution or smog in Antarctica, because, you know, the lack of industry.
he's standing on frozen tundra, but his breath isn't producing any condensation at all.
Yes, it's a desert. Again, it wasn't because it is summer. When they did this, it was summer in Antarctica. It wasn't necessarily cold enough all of the time to do breath. And secondly, it's a desert, so there's not a lot of moisture. So instead of condensating and being visible, a lot of it would just get, you know, not visible, just absorbed into the air because there isn't enough moisture.
Until somebody points that out in the live stream, and then he bends over and literally hits his vape and gets caught by a third camera doing it. But these guys will go to any extent. And understand this. A lot of people followed Jeranism till he completely flipped the switch, but I never trusted him. Trust your gut instincts. There are absolutely people that have been on the internet since day one, steering and guiding people, giving them enough truth to keep them coming back, but pointing them in the wrong direction nonetheless. What he's doing right now could easily be done by AI, easily. Or
it could not. It couldn't. It straight up could not.
Or what he's doing right now could be done in one of...
He is overstating the abilities of generative AI. It does not have the consistency to be able to, A, do shots this long, and B, have shots that are consecutive that remain consistent. If you have a shot go on too long through generative AI, it starts to hallucinate like crazy and just do random shit that doesn't make any sense. Because of course it does. Fenekagami says, I'm so sick of this shit. It doesn't matter if they told you the truth about space. You assholes don't believe things that we tell you are happening here. Flooding in Texas, more in the Middle East. If you don't want to believe it, it's fake to you. Hell, the way they use science reminds me of how spirit science uses a chiropractic, quote, doctor for everything from medical claims to quantum physics. Yeah.
Of Amazon's new machines where you don't need a green screen anymore. Hollywood uses it all the time. So there, as they say, is that. And plus, you can't land on the moon because it is and always will be a plasma. Just like
it's not.
Like this guy said.
Well, now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon.
This is a guy who was wrong in the time period, and they were interviewing him as like a ha-ha. Isn't it funny that this crackpot believes this? In the 50s, this was supposed to be a ha-ha thing. But of course, flat earthers don't get that, so that's fun.
But it is.
That's funny. He says he stated to various scientists. That kind of implies he's not one. But whatever. That's such a good affect. The little, like, whatever. The crackpot wave. Literally hand-waving away all of the facts that show that he's wrong.
I favor. And I'm not taking...
This guy's an iconic crackpot, by the way. Like, he was obviously wrong. Very wrong. But you know what? He got on TV, damn it, and he said his crazy bullshit. And he's getting cited by crackpots to this day. That's as close to immortality as a conspiracy theorist can get, I think, without assassinating someone.
So that's pretty much it, because again, I'm running off a Starlink right now. Are you kidding me? Why is there a square standby? A square of my face. That was annoying.
Oh, that seems emotionally good that he got mad at that immediately. That seems healthy that something unexpected happens and his immediate knee-jerk response is rage. Human beings are scary.
Filming the moon so many times, and I filmed it coming over the horizon, coming right up over the Atlantic Ocean. Every single time when it gets to about 10 o'clock in the sky, it goes from an orange mass that is literally moving around and so on the dark continents on it, or whatever they're called. I've got it coming through the Sierra Nevadas. I've got it pretty much everywhere, and I've got it going down into the Pacific. The Book of Enoch explains what the moon is and where it comes from and where it goes. Do you guys remember the live stream where people were literally sending me in footage with timestamps on it from other countries and other places where they were looking at the same moon on the other side of the world that I was in Massachusetts? Yeah, that was a thing. At any rate, I'm not going to talk about Trump. I'm not going to talk about Epstein because everybody is finally figuring out what I told you the first time around. He's never going to release the documents. Trump is an absolute Zionist billionaire. And he's on the list. Do you see what I'm saying? They're never going to release it. But look what the president is doing. I mean, are you kidding me? There is no list. One day later, the list was created by Obama. One day later, well, there is no list, and anybody that listens to it is a bad person or fake news. We're literally living in idiocracy because the entire time we've been living in a movie. We're just at idiocracy right now, literally.
We're watching a movie, or you're watching a movie on the bingo card?
Because their president was a wrestler. Trump, he's been in the wrestling ring, and he's literally he's telling everyone he's going to hold a UFC fight with 20,000 fans on the grounds of the White House.
I can't imagine that happens, by the way. The security concerns would be astronomical. There's, you know, the world is a stupid fucking place, but I don't think that'll happen. This is where you'd do a comedy cut to like 7 months later on the White House lawn UFC fight.
That's impossible. It's impossible, but that is idiocracy. Bread and circus. He's done nothing he said he would do, right down to the Epstein list. And you guys have been listening. I'm not even going to... Who cares? That's all fodder. Puff Daddy, Epstein, it's all to keep you busy from Agenda 2030.
Wow, I haven't heard him referred to as Puff Daddy in a while.
And
that answers how old he is also.
Massive amounts of weather manipulation that they're doing. So, with that being said, Richie from Boston, the creek don't rise and the good Lord's willing. I'll get you another one this week or tomorrow. At any rate, I'm out.
Breaking news.
That's something. What else do we have?
Cellular debris is directly connected to our shadow.
Cellular debris is directly connected to our shadow. That's a real thing for sure. H-Bird says, everyone knows that giant mansions are for pay-per-view boxing matches only. What else do we have? Oh, the pedophiles upset about the Epstein files thing, which is incredibly ironic.
Hello, this is Dave from Net4Truth USA, Inglorious Patriots. It is July 15th.
This is the guy who in the 90s was convicted of sex crimes against a child. And he's upset about the Epstein thing. The aristocrats.
2025, and the time now is 16:01 hours Eastern Time here in beautiful southern North Carolina. We've had weeks of this nonsense with the Epstein files that has gotten me up to here being fed up. Fed up with the deep state bullshit.
Of course he's mad he didn't get away with it. That's fair. That's fair.
And the absolutely amateurish effort to pawn off this 10-hour video that shows absolutely nothing. The truth of the matter is, folks, you can't prove a negative. That's why we have the Fifth Amendment. That's why the law says that you are innocent until and unless you are proven guilty. The tape shows nothing. It shows editing in the macros, in the metadata of the file, shows that it was edited by Adobe. And if you watch the video up in the upper...
Yes, his flag says Ultra MAGA.
Right-hand screen, you see a little drop box drop down occasionally where shit was edited. For 6 years, we've been...
H-Baird says, am I just having a bad Mandela effect? Didn't we already know that Trump and Epstein were buds, that he was on the flight logs all the time, and they called each other all the time? Why is everyone acting like this is some huge revelation now? I think a lot of it's because MAGA people weren't necessarily familiar with their relationship, and they were willing to look the other way until Trump was, like, really weird about all of this. And to be clear, just because someone was on flight logs doesn't mean that they did anything illegal, right? So there were things that are suspicious, but MAGA people didn't really care. Some of them seem to care now because Trump campaigned saying he was going to release all these files, and then, of course, the opposite has happened, and it's incredibly suspicious. I'm vehemently anti-conspiracy theory, so I can't, you know, make a conclusion one way or another. I think it's suspicious, but I don't know what I don't know. So I don't know.
Told that there was no tapes, that the cameras failed, the guards fell asleep, and apparently no count was entered into the prison roster because otherwise all the alarms would have went off. And it's been one bullshit story after the other. Very amateurish bullshit stories at that. Now, Pam Bondi seems to be the one stirring the turd here.
It's so crazy to me how they keep going to Pam Bondi instead of her literal boss.
Saying that there's nothing there. Where weeks before she said she had thousands of videotapes and children being abused and all this type of shit, doing a 180-degree flip-flop and totally contradicting herself.
Okay, that's all we're gonna watch of this. He's not fun to watch for pretty obvious reasons. I just wanted to point out, little bit ironic that he's so upset about it, considering his own crimes that he was convicted of. So let's move on.
Beloved family of Earth, we have a message for you.
We greet you from the star councils of light, the Pleiadian High Council. At this sacred juncture of your Earth journey, the celestial alignments are acting as cosmic mirrors, reflecting the deeper truths now ready to surface in your personal and planetary consciousness. Between June 26th and June 30th, your solar system is undergoing a soft yet significant recalibration. Neptune's station, retrograde in Pisces, June 30th, opens the veils to multidimensional memory, inner sight, and soul truth. It is dissolving the final illusions around separation, deception, and avoidance, personally and collectively. A Mercury-Venus conjunction in Leo amplifies your heart-mind
Okay, well that's vacuous pap.
Let's see here. I see Brother Theodine. Okay, I answered that question. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get back to the regular questions now. I had to answer some of the super chat questions. How can you ascend past the eighth and ninth dimension into the overworld? So the way you get back there is you must pick up your other bodies to go back. So you must grab your astral body.
If you want to go to the overworld, you hit the pause button and you hit exit level. Jesus Christ.
Solar body, your Buddhahood body, right? And then your immortal body.
I've already got a Buddha body.
Then your deity, your God body. And then you can ascend. You must go. You already created those bodies when you came down. Some of y'all don't know that. So before you came to Earth, the human body was the last thing that your soul created when it came down. On the way down, it came through every dimension. and it created a body in that dimension. Until
Rising of the Clockwork with 1,000 bits says, "Hey Hannah, just caught the stream. How are all the tinfoil hats handling Ozzy's death? Oh, they think it was a sacrifice. Also, I just saw that Cirrus is dealing with call for an uprising again. He sent a bunch of followers to some of his old vids when he was covering him years back. Keep an eye out for people spamming old vids with waves of comments. Call seems to be a petty man. Thank you. Some other people have also warned me. Yeah, he got channels banned again, and he's lashing out like a child, as he always does, at people who did nothing to do this to him. He's doing this to himself."
this day, that body's still there. That part of you is still there. And if that part of you thinks that you're a dream, yep, it thinks that you're just a dream. You're just a thought to it. But it knows that you're part of it. It knows that you exist. So being human is very bad because you're at your lowest point.
Being human is very bad.
You're at your lowest point, family. All right.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the surgery is coming up very soon. I'm scared. I'm excited, but I'm scared. I've never had surgery before.
So I want to remind everybody, I want to remind everybody that I have my mantras and my prayers on. You can go back and update your tribal ID.
The weird cut.
And get the tribal name.
I'll do great. In fairness, all I have to do is lay there while they cut my testicles off, so I don't have a high bar for what I need to do.
Brother Yosef, what is the best way to communicate with the oversoul? You're always in communication with your oversoul. You're always in communication with your oversoul. Your oversoul is the one playing the video game. He's controlling you right now. Or she is controlling you right now. Or it is controlling you right now. And it controls all the other aspects of it. Your astral body, your fifth dimensional body. Yeah, we have bodies on every dimension. Right? And as you grow and evolve, different aspects of yourself will reveal itself to you. Right? So for me, my ancestors came, right? And I found out I had a grandmother from Africa that, that used to come to me.
I don't want to give an exact date, but I will say the surgery is about 3 weeks away. Just about. Just so everyone knows. About 3 weeks.
And she used to, give me spells and say things.
Yeah, dimensions beyond our own on the bingo card.
To me in my ear from a long time ago, right? And she was a tribal teacher in Africa. And then later on, my spiritual father started coming to me. He actually came first and then her.
All right. Enough of him. Steve with the Q says, "Chicken in every pot, a Biden in every dimension."
Right, during March 23rd, when you had the open vortex, this is the energy that's going to cause the true great awakening on the planet, right? You're going to have a big shift in consciousness, right? So now when you look at it from that perspective, that is the precursor to a bridge of consciousness, unity consciousness, which creates super consciousness.
Make sure they're opening you from top to bottom in the middle of the scrotum and not from side to side. It makes vaginoplasty look better later. I told them that I did later want to have a vaginoplasty, so I let them know about all of that. So here's hoping.
Consciousness, which is acclimated to hyperconsciousness, and that's basically a segue to ultra consciousness, right? So everything is based on the frequency of unconditional love, where you have non-judgment, because you can't go into the fourth and the fifth dimensions being a hater. If you're not
no haters in the fifth dimension.
Balanced mentally and spiritually.
There is a fifth dimension, one beyond. No, I can't do Rod Serling.
You're not going to make it, right? Because planet Earth, it doesn't see skin color. It reads frequency and vibrations. So if your frequency and your vibration is not harmonizing with the planet, you can be decimated. Kind of like the movie Predator. When Predator, when he was scoping out his victims, he didn't see skin color. Only thing that he saw was frequency, vibration, in the aura of the people that he was killing on the planet.
He saw thermal. Are you talking about the thermal predator vision? It's not vibration. I mean, well, in some way, I guess you could describe temperature as vibration because heat is like the amount of energy that like the no, it's fucking heat. He's got heat vision. God damn it.
So if you're a parasitical entity to the planet, you're not going to make it to
I don't believe that they will give me the testicles, Harold Edelman, and even if they did, no, I cannot show what is tantamount to medical gore on Twitch.
higher dimensions, because the energy of Pluto and Aquarius is basically ascending the planet up, right? Because
although if I could, I would put little googly eyes on them and keep them in a jar, and it would be very funny.
The best way to look at it is like planet Earth is like a classic car, and the sun is basically the
planet Earth is like a classic car. There's no seat belts, and we're all gonna die.
Charge of the planet, which is the battery, right? So when you have these colossal coronal mass ejections, these solar transmissions that's hitting the planet, that is basically jump starting the planet. It's revving up the planet to where it speeds up in vibration. So when the planet speeds up in vibration, you're supposed to be harmonizing with the planet because you have a solar plex, just like how the sun or our planet Earth has a soul inside the planet as well, right? The planet Earth basically has a solar plex. So your frequency, your vibration has to be harmonizing with the planet in order to make it to the higher dimensions, right? Because like I said, you cannot make it to the fourth and the fifth dimensions being a hater. Because when you're a hater, that basically puts an encryption on your heart chakra, because that encryption steals electrons from the heart chakra because it creates particles of sodium atoms. And those
What? Oh, this is like top tier word salad. This is real good. Holy shit.
Planet as well, right? The planet Earth basically has a solar plex. So your frequency, your vibration has to be harmonizing with the planet in order to make it to the higher dimensions, right? Because like I said, you cannot make it to the fourth and the fifth dimensions being a hater. Because when you're a hater, that basically puts an encryption on your heart chakra because that encryption steals electrons from the heart chakra because it creates particles of sodium atoms. And those particles of sodium atoms basically dematerializes your molecular structure, right?
Brent Spiner couldn't have done better. Truly. What a performance. Holy shit. I think he deserves a little bit of credit for getting all that out. Come on. Let's give it to him.
So now, when you look at it from this perspective, from a dietary standpoint, right? When you eat meat, right? Which, I know a lot of people are very, acclimated to the westernized concept of a dietary system. A lot of us can't get away from chicken and things of that nature. But what you got to understand is that eating meat, that vibration in itself is not acclimated to the higher dimensions, right? Because over a time period, meat transmutes over into a form of the frequency of alcohol, right?
Meat turns into alcohol. Oh boy.
So it keeps.
I will say this, as a recovered alcoholic, no, eating a chicken sandwich is not equivalent to a shot. And I'm glad it's not, because I like chicken sandwiches.
You're at a low vibrational state. So this is not a time to where you be going up to get, seconds and thirds and plates. You need to be eating in small portions, meaning that you need to be eating in small increments, because, as the planet speeds up in vibration, that creates a higher density level on the planet, meaning that everything is going to be heavy. So you want to be a light.
You got to lose weight so that you're not so dense that you fall through the floor.
Body, because the density.
I'll have to buy all new chairs.
The other genetically modified foods that have these nanotechnologies and these metals inside the foods, right? That keeps you bound on the three-dimensional frequency to where you cannot ascend when that fourth dimensional vortex opens up on March 23rd, right? So now, when you
okay, I guess March 23rd, mark your calendars, some weird shit's gonna happen. It's a couple weeks after my birthday, that's nice.
You look at this chart right here, when you look at the precession of the equinox, right? You're going from the Iron Age, and the Iron Age was acclimated to mankind, which is the Clay Age, right? So you transmuting from the age of a Pisces and going into the Bronze Age, which is the precursor to silver and
I'm a Pisces, which means I don't believe in astrology.
Gold and things of that nature. Because when you're talking about the end of an age, the end of the age of a Pisces, you're basically talking about the end of mankind, because mankind is a kind of a man that was genetically spliced into existence during the 6,000 year verification period, because their time is up. So that's why you're having a transmutation of power of everything on the planet. Everything has to revert back into the frequency of nature, right? So now, this is where you detach from the old systems, right? So like I said, everything on the planet is starting to raise up in vibration. So when you understand the law of correspondence, as above, so below. Now I'm going to be showing you a video.
Is that bananas? Is that a road full of rotten bananas?
Of the atmosphere basically dematerializing, and you have these solar flares and these corona.
Well, now I want to know what the fuck the deal was with the goddamn bananas. All right, then. All right, we'll call it a night. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. I appreciate another tinfoil day. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to cover sovereign citizens, including Cameron's attempt at getting me to not talk about him. So that's fun. The W No, thanks for 41 months, says, 41 months? Where's the time gone? Seriously, some of that time owes me money. Love you too, Mr. Blast. Oh, who are we gonna raid? We haven't raided Queen Pib in quite a while. Oh, L.A. Noire. I loved that game. Alright. Have a great night. I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, that's it. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll talk about the Wise Dome thing. Should be fun. Boom. Have a good night, everyone. Adios.